Thank you, Mark. The sun is shining, spring is in the air. There's a definite spring in the step of the Manchester United players and their new permanent manager. And obviously the cameramen and the photographers very, very interested in him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just comes out of the Manchester United dugout for a second, makes his way to the opposition dugout and does the polite, cordial thing of going to greet his opposite number today, Javi Gracia, who is looking forward to an FA Cup semi-final a week tomorrow against Wolves. That could have been against Manchester United, but obviously Wolves beat them the last time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took charge of a game. What's changed since then is he is now the permanent manager. And Manchester United in this fascinating race for a top four spot. Tottenham in third place on 61 points, Arsenal in fourth on 60, Manchester United in fifth on 58 points, and Chelsea just behind them on 57. Four changes to the team today. Michael Brown, that lost that FA Cup quarter-final to Wolves, but where Manchester United really benefit today, a load of their players didn't play international football because they had knocks, injuries, problems and the like. So Luke Shaw, Nemanja Matic, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford all back in, but also fresh, rested, raring to go. That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
A huge difference. They'll be, as you say, you just gets rid of those little knots, those tight hamstrings, whether you have an ankle injury. She can carry them for quite some period, so that little bit of warm weather, get yourself ready. So they'll be really, really looking forward to get back into action with the games coming in. Manchester
United are ready to go. Red shirts with white numbers on their backs, black shorts, red socks with the black tops, and Watford in change kit this afternoon. 5 changes to their team as well. Javi Gracia has changed the entire defence. Ben Foster returns in goal. Aurelio Gomez played in that FA Cup quarter-final win against Crystal Palace. But Janmat, Kabasele, Britos and Messina are the back four for Watford today. Femenia, Mariappa, Cathcart and Holebas drop out. Femenia, Cathcart and Holebas all on the bench for Watford. Paul Pogba's first touch of this sunny afternoon. BBC Radio 5 live at Old Trafford. This is Manchester United against Watford. But as Mark was saying, we will bounce around all the grounds. Reporters at the other 4 games in the Premier League kicking off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. 3 featured matches in the Championship. We've got a reporter at League 1, the game between Barnsley and Coventry, Lincoln and Macclesfield in League 2, and Roddy Forsyth, the big battle at the bottom in the Scottish Premiership. We'll be keeping an eye on St Mirren against Dundee. David De Gea, quite a picture in bright orange, white gloves, slings the ball out overarm to Herrera. Back to former Watford man Ashley Young up against his former club. Britos had the sun in his eyes there as he heads the ball away to the left-hand touchline. Watford quite happy to play out of their own half. Here's Pereira, the Argentine, outside of his right foot. Deulofeu will chase the ball through. Phil Jones is back into the United back four today. Victor Lindelof is missing, gets it back to De Gea. He clears up to the halfway line. Martial chests it down, keeps hold of the ball. Little pass back into midfield goes astray. Deulofeu into Deeney. Nice first touch from Deeney. Smalling is across quickly and wins the tackle. And Watford have the ball back. Minute and a half played. Watford come again down the right-hand side. Cross takes a slight deflection. Ashley Young just shanks it off his right foot. Clears it from the Manchester United penalty area. Collected by Messina. Plays a little 1-2 with Doucouré. Doucouré here to Will Hughes, trying to turn a ball round the corner. It's blocked. Ashley Young up the right-hand touchline. Rashford slightly miscontrolled. Manchester United just giving the ball back rather easily in the opening stages.
They are giving it back, and if you look, Watford now are getting a couple of passes. They're starting to gain a little bit of confidence. They're not afraid now to come to Old Trafford. They've done very, very well this year in the Premier League, and you can see now how they've started this game, plenty of confidence and plenty of movement.
They have the ball again, Watford on the right. Deulofeu's a lot of space here inside the Manchester United penalty area. Deeney was unmarked in the middle and he didn't get the pass. It's blocked. Will Hughes crosses into the far post. Ashley Young with a header away. Juan Mata is back there defending. There's been a goal at Turf Moor. Juliet Farrington.
Burnley lead Wolves by 1 goal at 2-0. Chris Wood with the goal. It was a simple tap in at the near post. Defensive mistake by the visitors, but Burnley won't care about that. Burnley 1, Wolves 0.
Bad news for Huddersfield then so far. If Huddersfield lose today at Crystal Palace, if Burnley win and if Southampton win, then Huddersfield will be relegated this afternoon. Dundee have scored early in that battle at the bottom in the Scottish Premiership. Roddy Forsyth will be on in a while to give us the details of that. Ethan Robson has scored in the first minute of the game. Manchester United get this game back underway. David De Gea in goal. Deulofeu has just been sent to the side of the pitch for the moment to make some adjustments to either his boot or his socks or his kit. There was something that the referee wasn't happy with, so Watford are down to 10 men for a second. De Gea in goal, back four of Young, Smalling, Jones and Shaw, as Mata chases a ball down the right hand side, complains that he was tugged by Messina. Assistant referee doesn't agree. Matic, Herrera and Pogba, and then Mata starting on the right hand side, Martial on the left hand side, and Rashford through the middle. So it is the black leggings, Michael Brown, that are being snipped off by one of the Watford backroom team that were causing a problem.
Yeah, it was. He's got a full set of leggings from his shorts all the way into his socks. So, you know, Stuart Atwell officiating today, he's made him take them off, but it's really difficult without taking all his clothes off. They've had to actually cut the whole lot of his pants off.
Tell you what though, you might want to check just underneath that kit whether he's wearing your heated waistcoat as well, because if he's got the leggings on, he might have snuck it.
It's surely not that cold for leggings today, surely.
Bottom of League Two, Notts County with an early goal away to Stevenage. Stevenage 0, Notts County 1. Manchester United in possession of the ball. They come back to David De Gea. De Gea takes a big swing with his right boot, clears the ball right down the middle of the pitch. Rashford can't control it, so Ben Foster is there, and he immediately returns that with interest and knocks it straight out for a throw into Manchester United. Right, I promised you Roddy Forsyth. Here he is watching St Mirren Dundee.
Well, we were only 32 seconds into this match when Dundee took the lead. Remember, this is a battle of the strugglers, second bottom versus bottom, and Dundee took the lead almost from kick-off. They'd won the toss, they made St Mirren play the way they don't like to play. It was a psychological ploy, and they took advantage of that with that goal from Ethan Robson that gives them an early lead, and they look as though they're in the mood.
Thank you, Roddy. I will see you at Celtic Park tomorrow. The first of 3 commentaries tomorrow on 5 Live Sport. The Old Firm derby. Roddy and I will be there. Celtic against Rangers, and it kicks off at midday. Manchester United 0, Watford 0. Messina's ball down the left-hand side. Little touch and turn from Pereira. Opens up for Doucouré, drags the shot wide at the near post. That is a really good chance for Watford, and they have started much the better, Michael Brown.
They have. It's come down the left-hand side, as you mentioned. Messina cutting from the left. It forced for Doucouré. He's got the goal all open. Maybe that side footer across the hay. He tries to pull it to the near post and drags it disappointingly wide. Poor effort.
Doncaster's John Marquis has his 23rd goal of the season. Doncaster lead Walsall 1-0. Goal at Bramall Lane, Steve Crossman.
And Billy Sharp has his 23rd league goal of the season too. Sheffield United in front after 6 minutes from a set piece, whipped in by John Fleck, the midfielder. Sharp far post header, and as it stands, the Blades going just a point below Norwich at the top of the Championship. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0.
That's right, Norwich play a little later on this evening, kicking off at 5:30 away to Middlesbrough. The news of the goal at the Bramall Lane, greeted with a punch of the air by former Sheffield United midfielder Michael Brown, sitting on my left-hand side. A welcome to all our listeners on the BBC World Service this afternoon. I can assure you, if you love your football, you'd absolutely love to be here. One of the great stadiums to visit, looking glorious in the sunshine this afternoon. And here are Watford again. Will Hughes is on the ball inside the penalty area, back to Pereira, cross in, flicked on towards the far post, nodded back across goal. Manchester United desperately trying to get it away. De Gea on his weaker foot sweeps a clearance with his left foot, and Watford again get to the loose ball. Pereira's going to go past Herrera on the outside. He's going to beat him a second time for good measure. Plays it back to the left back Messina, low cross, not a good one, is volleyed away by Smalling. And Doncaster have a second goal. Malik Wilkes has given them a 2-0 lead against Walsall. Plymouth are 1-up at Blackpool in League One. Freddie Ladapo with that goal, and you know, because we were just hearing from Steve Crossman about the goal at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 0, and Burnley leading Wolves 1-0 early on at Turf Moor. Deeney lining up a 25-yarder, doesn't catch it properly and slices it high and wide, and behind for the Manchester United goal kick. Kilmarnock 1, Hamilton 0 in the Scottish Premiership. Michael Brown, this is Manchester United 0, Watford 0. This has been all Watford.
Very much all Watford. Again, a mistake by Matic. It falls to Troy Deeney. He hits one over, but the pressure's really good from Watford. Manchester United can't get out at the moment. They've got to get the foot on the ball, start moving it around and get the midfield three, who's so impressive. Herrera, Matic and Pogba need to get on the ball.
David De Gea then will take this goal kick. Swings it away out of the shade in his half, into the sunshine in Watford's half of the field. Watford attacking towards the Stretford end, if you know Old Trafford, if you can picture it from right to left from our position in the Sir Bobby Charlton stand. And here's some rare possession for Manchester United. Herrera into the feet of Rashford. Capoue did really well to get back at Rashford there. Rashford has stayed down for a second after the challenge and just hobbles to his feet rather gingerly. Northampton 1, Port Vale 0. Early goals going in up and down the country, keeping you across it all here on BBC Radio 5 Live as Capoue kills a pass with his right foot out to Will Hughes. Pereira's popped up in the inside right channel. Pogba with a wonderful raking ball forward to find Rashford, who's still got a lot to do here, bursting into the penalty area. Slide challenge on him by Kabasele, and Manchester United get their first corner of the game. United 0, Watford 0.
Great counter-attacking move. They managed to win the ball back. We've seen Pogba play a brilliant ball, through the centre of the Watford's defence, and there's Rashford getting on the end of it. But great defending, great recovery from Kabasele.
In terms of the other teams in this race for the top 4, Tottenham of course in action tomorrow. 5 Live commentary at 4:30 away at Liverpool. Arsenal play on Monday night at home to Newcastle. That is also a 5 Live commentary, as is Chelsea's trip to Cardiff, which kicks off at 2:05 tomorrow. Watford having to defend a corner then. Ashley Young drills it with real pace towards the far post. Smalling gets a header on it, but can only nod it behind for the Watford goal kick. And they have a former Manchester United man between the sticks in Ben Foster, who most famously during his United career was the hero during the penalty shootout in the 2009 League Cup final against Tottenham that won United the trophy. He's having a fantastic season for Watford this time around.
Brilliant pro, great season. As I say, we just mentioned before, it'll be interesting to see, will he go on and play the semi-final, the final, or will it be Gomez?
Aurelio Gomez has been the FA Cup man so far. Watford Wolves next Sunday. Ball forward to Rashford is intercepted. Troy Deeney trying to turn away from Smalling. Rashford is onto it again on the right-hand side. Immediately looks up and sees if there's anyone making a move in the middle. Challenge on him from Britos, and Rashford comes charging back and rather rashly barges Britos to the ground and concedes the free kick. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there is out and is very impassioned on the sidelines. He really came tearing down the steps from the dugout here to make his point. I think he's talking to Juan Mata at the moment. The initial point was to Pogba, I think, Michael Brown.
It was, and it was more that enthusiasm. When you see the manager saying, come on, get going, can we get our foot on the ball? He's very understated. You're expecting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he come out, was he going to get a big applause? Was he going to make a scene? He didn't. He just wanted to get his job started and underway.
Ashley Young very nearly loses the ball on the edge of the area, and now with a chance to clear. A goal in the game between Leicester and Bournemouth, watched by Pat Murphy.
To Leicester, Wes Morgan turned it in after Chilwell's shot, misdirected, hit him, 35 years of age, back in the side. He's chuffed. Sir Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
So Burnley 1, Wolves 0, Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0. Manchester City 2-0 winners at Fulham. Watford up to the edge of the United penalty area again. De La Feu is thinking about a right-footed shot, slides in the pass on the right-hand side. The ball is chipped to the far post. Deeney nods it down. De Gea flicks it away with his left foot, and Martial is back there to clear. Capoue might line up the shot. That takes a deflection. De Gea is down and hurt, and the ball is behind and out of play. A goal in the game at Ellen Road now. Sohail Sahi.
It's gone to Millwall, Alistair. It's Leeds 0, Millwall 1. A sweeping move down the right hand side, the cross into the penalty area, and Ben Thompson with a bullet header. Millwall have started the brighter of the two sides, and they lead Leeds United by 1-0.
There's also been a goal in our featured game in League One. It is at Oakwell. Tom Gale.
And it's gone to their home side, Ali. Barnsley 1, Coventry 0. Exquisite football from the home side. Daniel Stenzel's team, Gegen pressing, typical German stereotype. Neat footwork, played into the box by Mamadou Thiam. It was Alex Mauer to the back post to tap it in. Barnsley 1, Coventry 0.
Manchester United 0, Watford 0, and Michael Brown on a look at a second replay here has spotted what the problem is with David De Gea. There's no football at the moment. He had to get down sharply to palm away a Deeney header, but it's his left shin, is it, Michael, he's hurt?
It is, it's his left shin. It was a great ball in from the right-hand side. There's Troy Deeney, that downward header, strong header. It was a great save to the left-hand side of De Gea, but in that, Decore stamped on him. Not sure it's deliberate from the clips, but that's obviously right down his shin. He's still in a bit of pain, but interestingly, the game played on. He's on the floor, De Gea, and they could have scored.
Yeah, there was a long-range strike from Capoue. which took a deflection and went behind. Stuart Atwell, I think, is going to restart with a drop ball. He's going to give it to Ashley Young, and he will clear it straight downfield. Goal at Villa Park. Aaron Paul.
Aston Villa 1, Blackburn 0. Tammy Abrahams, 22nd of the season, has put the host there. Ball in from the left. El Ghazi flooded it in, and there was Abraham to apply the finish. Villa 5th as things stand. Villa 1, Blackburn 0.
Sheffield United leading Bristol City 1-0. As we heard, Millwall are 1 up at Leeds. Villa leading Blackburn 1-0. Back underway at Old Trafford. Watford have started much the better. Capoue, though, not a great pass, can't find Deulofeu. Chip down the inside left channel. Phil Jones can just let it run beyond him, and it comes back to David De Gea. So De Gea is okay. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still not happy. He's back out on the edge of the pitch here, trying to get his views and his instructions across. Michael Carrick is standing right behind him, hands in pockets, also just offering his tuppence worth. Chris Smalling, meanwhile, on the ball for Manchester United inside their own half. Derby 1, Rotherham 0 in the Championship. Martin Waghorn has scored from the penalty spot in that game, and St Mirren 1, Dundee 1, a St Mirren equaliser that we'll hear about from Roddy in a little while. Here's Matic, left-hand side for United. Switches play, gives it to Ashley Young. A lot of space for Young here. Takes a touch, crosses deep, way too deep beyond everyone, and the ball's out for a throw. Here's Roddy.
St Mirren 1, Dundee 1, and it's a case of horses for courses, because that goal has been credited to Danny Mullen. Mullen, who hasn't played since December and who last scored in August, scored twice as a matter of fact against Dundee. 1 each here.
Roddy definitely chose the right game to go to this afternoon in the Scottish Premiership. Goals in the Premier League so far today in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Burnley lead Wolves 1-0. Leicester lead Bournemouth 1-0. And I think you're absolutely right, Michael. From the first time we saw Solskjaer, it's just to try and get a bit of life into the team. It's just started, you know, despite all the sort of the buzz and the good feeling and the good vibes, Manchester United have just kind of been half asleep so far.
They have been half asleep, and you know, that's the need to against this Watford side. They've got to get Ashley Young on the ball down the right hand side, Luke Shaw down the left, but the shape out of possession, Watford have been very, very good so far, and the rotations with possession, it's been hard for Manchester United to get the ball back.
I think Watford fans giving Ashley Young stick there. He's very near the away end, on the corner, the join between our stand, the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, and the east stand, which is the end behind the goal away to our right hand side. That's handball from Juan Mata there. Throw came bouncing in towards him. He tried to control it on his chest. He's conceded the free kick. He can have a chuckle about it. Manchester United 0, Watford 0. Big game on the south coast. Brighton Southampton. Jonathan Overend.
And it's Brighton 0, Southampton 0. We've played for 14 minutes. No clear chances to report so far. Brighton, though, having more of the play in the more dangerous areas. Southampton playing with 2 up top today. Redmond joining the returning Danny Ings, and 4 at the back in the sunshine here. It's Brighton 0, Southampton 0.
Ipswich 0, Hull 1. Latest in the Championship, Kamil Grzycki has scored the goal for Hull. Walsall have a goal back at Doncaster. Doncaster 2, Walsall 1. Deeney controls on the thigh, plays the ball to his right and finds Doucouré. Manchester United try and play out. Herrera was almost caught. Rashford, first touch not good. He's having a bit of a battle this afternoon. Pereira bringing it forward for Watford, looking for the 1-2 with Will Hughes. Hughes keeps it, decides to shoot. Smalling closes it down. Juan Mata with a little acrobatically volleyed pass into the feet of Pogba. Pogba's fouled, advantage played. Mata tries to release Rashford. Ben Foster is there out quickly and clears away with his left boot. Back to Turf Moor, Juliette Farrington.
Suiting Burnley list, they lead Wolves by a goal to 0. It came from a free kick in the 2nd minute. Chris Wood latching onto it. He fired his shot from the corner of the edge of the 6-yard box. Nobody seemed to be picking it up, but it's actually been given as a Cody own goal. Took a deflection off him. Confident though, Burnley, this 1-0 they lead.
Selhurst Park next, John Southall.
Crystal Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Palace just waking up, 2 decent chances. Michy Batshuayi on the penalties block. Brilliant block though by Eric Durm, and then Max Meyer a moment ago slipped it through to Jeffrey Schlupp, and he just slipped as he hit his shot and it went wide of the left hand post. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
Poor clearance from Ben Foster, picked up by Nemanja Matic midway inside the Watford half. Luke Shaw gets onto the ball in an attacking position for the first time in the game. Martial finds him again on the left hand side, opens up for Shaw, tries to play it into Rashford, and the cross is intercepted at the near post and knocked out for a throw into Manchester United. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. Conor McLennan has the opening goal in that game. Martial's taken the throw in quickly. This is Manchester United 0, Watford 0. Matic running out of space and options, comes back to the halfway line. Here's Ashley Young on the right hand side. Herrera, Messina's through the back of him. Free kick to Manchester United. Pat Murphy's already seen a goal this afternoon. He's watching Leicester against Bournemouth.
Should have seen a second, should have seen the equaliser for Bournemouth. The pace of Fraser created it. Wilson 6 yards out, didn't get proper contact on it, but a splendid clawing save by Schmeichel. Peter Shilton, who's here watching it, would have enjoyed that one. It's Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Still Manchester United 0, Watford 0. United trying to work something down the right hand side. Ashley Young's ball into the middle, intercepted. Doucouré, who has been not only one of the best players for Watford this season, one of the most impressive performers in the Premier League this season, has got Watford on the move again. Will Hughes, by the way, who got booked for the challenge on Pogba when Manchester United were breaking forward moments ago, plays it infield. Deulofeu has got Pereira in a lot of space on his left-hand side. The ball got to him a bit late. Here's Deulofeu again on the dribble into the penalty area. Space almost opened up and Pogba steps in, gets a foot in. Terrible clearance from Ashley Young, has given it straight back to Capoue. Capoue's floated ball finds Hughes inside the Manchester United box. Janmaat's crossing, Deeney jumps well down to Deulofeu. Pereira with the shot, not enough on it to beat David De Gea, who makes the save low to his right hand side. Penalty at Ellen Road. Sohail Sahi.
It's gone to Leeds, Alistair. Patrick Bamford will take it. Jed Wallace fouled Calvin Phillips. Referee pointed to the spot. They're trailing Millwall by 1-0. We played 18 minutes of the first half. Sheffield United, as we know, are leading Bristol City 1-0. Here comes Bamford, left-footed, good save by David Martin. It's still Leeds 0, Millwall 1.
Thank you, Sohail. David De Gea, having made the save, clears the ball with his right foot. Pogba wins a header just inside the Watford half. Britos was brave, he knew he was going to get clattered, but won the header, and Watford sweeping forward again down the right-hand side. Doucouré back to Will Hughes. That wasn't the best pass, and Matic is back there for Manchester United, opening up a little bit for Juan Mata, gets his head down and makes a quick 30-40 yards down the left-hand side. Doucouré is puffing and panting a bit to try and keep up with him. Martial fires it back into Mata, back to Martial, looking for Rashford, couldn't quite find him. Watford clear, but only as far as Ashley Young. Young to Pogba. Pogba's first touch not good enough. Capoue makes the challenge. Matic has the ball back in midfield. Referee wants to play advantage as Matic was fouled. Shaw towards Martial, out to the left-hand side to Herrera. Asks Martial to run. He's well tackled, and the ball is out for a Manchester United throw. The European Champions Cup quarter-final at Allianz Park has its first try. Saracens Glasgow. Chris Jones.
And a try for Glasgow, Ali, in the first minute. An absolute beauty as well. Slick passing, stretched Saracens, and then scrum half Ali Price was on hand to scoot over. Converted by Hastings, so Saracens 0, Glasgow 7, but Sarries have a penalty just 5 metres from the Warriors line.
Leeds 0, Millwall 1, still in the Championship. Patrick Bamford with the missed penalty. Ball into the Watford penalty area, dealt with quite easily by Cabaselli and nodded out for a Manchester United throw. The League One leaders Luton are 1-0 up at Bristol Rovers. James Collins has scored the goal. Luton Town unbeaten in 26 games. And it looks like heading for promotion to the Championship. Charlton 1, Bradford 0 in League One. Deulofeu onto it for Watford, crosses the halfway line. Deeney is wide on the right hand side. Doucouré's made a run in the middle. The cross takes a deflection. It's behind for a corner. Phil Jones is furious. I've been rattling away for the last sort of 10-15 minutes, and poor old Michael Brown's not been able to get a word in.
Ali, it's all coming from Pogba. This is the Pogba of old. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came off. He started to tell him to get going. He's just give the ball away again. His teammates are having a go at him. He started very, very slowly in this game.
Just picking out Pogba at the moment, standing on the edge of the 6-yard box. Manchester United have a line of players to defend this corner, and Javi Gracia is waving both arms in the air like he just don't care, as he's trying to get the message out to his players of what to do with the set piece. Midway through the first half, United 0, Watford 0. Curled into the near post. Rashford is there to win the header. Doucouré volleys a pass sideways. Will Hughes just lofts one up into the air. Smalling underneath it, under pressure from Deeney. Heads it away. Deulofeu trodden on by Herrera. 25 yards from goal. No free kick. Mata onto it just inside the United half. He's going to use the pace of Martial down the left-hand side. Martial with a chance to run at Janmaat. Past Janmaat. Sticks to it. Well, it almost went through the legs of Ben Foster. Foster blocks it, and Martial complains that was a back pass. but he's not going to get the decision. Ladies from Selhurst Park, John Southall.
Palace 0, Huddersfield 0, but another chance for Palace. And Ross Townsend down the left-hand side whipped over a really good ball to Wilfried Zaha on the back post, but he headed wise. Also, Ali, we've just had a minute's applause for Damari Dawkins, who's a youth team player here at Palace, who passed away 2 weeks ago. The whole ground rose to applaud him.
Ball down the left-hand side here for Adam Messina to chase. He's going to try and take on Matic. Matic too clever for him, gets his body in the way. Chris Jones has seen another try at Allianz Park. Chris?
Yeah, champions response from Saracens this. They had penalty advantage, so Alex Good chipped for Liam Williams, who grabbed it brilliantly under the crossbar to score. Lasovsky converted. Going to be a good one this, 7-all after 6 minutes.
Big race from Doncaster is on the way. It's the Lincoln at 3:35 today. Here's John Hunt with the betting show ahead of the big one. John?
And trainer Charlie Appleby's already had 2 big successes in Dubai this afternoon with Melbourne Cup winner Cross Counter and Blue Point, the sprinter. His favourite is Auxerre at 5-2, will be ridden by James Doyle, with Kinren at 6-1, and the gamble of the race, Beringer. Alan King, the trainer, better known for his jumpers, of course, on the flat here today with Beringer, a well-backed third favourite at 7-1.
Manchester United 0, Watford 0. Could change shortly. Delafeu shot it straight at David De Gea. Manchester United, Michael Brown, lucky not to be behind here this afternoon.
Extremely lucky. Another poor ball there. Ashley Young, a square pass across the middle of the pitch and intercepted. Again, chance for Watford. They're very, very fortunate. They're just not at the races, Manchester United.
Other goals we've not been able to tell you about so far. Exeter 1, Mansfield 1. Pogba's going to try his luck from distance. Long way out from the left-hand side. Shots blocked and goes out for a throw. Wickham are 1 up at Oxford. Notts County now have a second away to Stevenage, and Wimbledon have just scored away to Scunthorpe. James Hansen with the goal for Wimbledon. Scunthorpe 0, Wimbledon 1. We were just at the races with John Hunt. We'll be back there for the Lincoln at 3:35, but as Michael's been saying, Manchester United not at the races yet this afternoon. They've shown a little bit of a threat on the counter with the pace of Rashford and Martial, but Watford have been very comfortably the better team.
Very comfortable. I think it's that in possession, they want to play, want to move Manchester United around. They seem to have their shape correct. Yeah, you're right with what you say. Is that's the time Manchester United can get in with a counter-attack in play. They've threatened it a couple of times, but it's generally this middle area. They've got to keep the ball a little bit longer than they have done so far.
Phil Jones, short pass into midfield, finds Matic just inside the Watford half. Watford all in green as Luke Shaw collects the ball on the left-hand side. Leicester leading Bournemouth 1-0. Burnley 1 up on Wolves in the Premier League. Matic into Martial, goes down in the penalty area. Stuart Atwell says no penalty. The ball is still loose on the edge of the box. Rashford plays it back to Pogba. Pogba's floated ball is over the head of Mate. He then climbs to try and win a header, comes through the back of Capoue, and the free kick will be given to Watford. But I think for the challenge on Deeney, the second challenge, not Pogba on Capoue. Watford complain, but they do have the free kick in the end.
Well, it goes into the box. I think it was, we're just looking at it now, I think it was Martial. He just gets a little push in the side, he dives, he lets his legs go. There's a slight bit of contact with the arm on his mid-drift area, but it's never ever a penalty.
That is a pretty shocking dive from Anthony Martial. Chris Sutton and I are always on the look for those for the simulation game on a Sunday night, Michael Brown. I've got a feeling that might feature.
I think I was being kind to him, wasn't I? Just saying he went down very, very easily. But yes, it was a dive, that was a yellow card, and we don't want to see that.
He was looking for the contact. There was a very slight touch with the right hand, but there was no need to go down like that. Ben Foster with the free kick. That is what Watford were complaining about. Anthony Martial trying to win the penalty by unfair means. Here's Pereira for Watford, left-hand side. Deeney left it brilliantly. It's back with Doucouré on the edge of the box. Into Delafeu. Now might fall for Will Hughes. Manchester United get enough bodies in the way. Cleared by Herrera. Janmaat plays it forward to Deeney. Deeney with the outside of his right boot. Pass is intercepted. Manchester United have 3-on-4 here. Rashford played in brilliantly by Luke Shaw, 1-on-1. Dinks it past Ben Foster and scores the goal to give Manchester United the lead. Marcus Rashford at his clinical best. United 1, Watford 0.
Just as we've mentioned, myself and Ali, about how clinical the counter-attack can be. Luke Shaw gets a breakaway, and I watch Rashford pull on the opposite side of the pitch on his shoulder, and the ball is sublime into the middle of the pitch. He draws Ben Foster out, and it's just that little flick over Ben Foster for a sublime finish for a wonderful goal.
Double figures for Marcus Rashford in the Premier League this season, and having celebrated with his teammates, he turns to the Manchester United fans sitting around us, and he just grabs the badge on the left-hand side of his shirt and he points and celebrates the goal once again. Just watching it again, Michael, lovely ball. I mean, the tackle was from Luke Shaw, the pass was from Luke Shaw as well.
You've got to watch this pass. This is what you say about a quality pass, but the run made it also for Rashford. He pointed to Luke Shaw, he knew where he was, they've been working on the counter-attack, and then the finish travelling so quick. It's just that little deft touch over Foster. Brilliant from Man United.
28 minutes played. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. I'm hearing that Huddersfield may have come close to scoring at Selhurst Park. John Southall.
They've had a couple of decent chances. They're just beginning to really get into this game. Aaron Moy cross from the right-hand side. Lerver unmarked 8 yards out. It was a poor header straight at the keeper, and he's had another effort again on the left side of the area. Good save by Guaita again, going to his left-hand side. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
Jamie Vardy looking for goals at Leicester. Pat Murphy.
Yes, but he's missed a sitter from 10 yards out. Set up brilliantly by Ricardo. Great decoy by Maddison. Perhaps a little bit too casual, which is not like him, but screwed it wide. He couldn't believe it. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Brighton started the day on 33 points. Southampton on 30, playing each other at the Amex. Jonathan Oberend.
0-0 after 27 minutes, a little bit scrappy, but a chance at each end. Redmond snapshot straight at Ryan. Duffy heading just wide from a corner. Brighton 0, Southampton 0.
Turf Moor next. Burnley Wolves, Juliette Ferrington.
Going Burnley's way. They're comfortable so far. A Conor Cody own goal from Chris Wood's strike, giving the home side the advantage really early on. Help with a deflection there for Shaw, looking at the replays. Tom Heaton, though, at the other end, nothing to do whatsoever so far. Wolves looking to try and get back into this one. Burnley still lead by a goal to 0.
Manchester City 2-0 winners at Fulham to go a point clear at the top of the Premier League. Rashford lining up a dipper from range. The shot is blocked. Another goal at Bramall Lane. Here's Steve Crossman.
And it's gone to Bristol City after 695 home minutes without conceding a goal in the Championship. The Blades have let one slip, and it's taken a brilliant header from Andreas Weimann, which looped up and over Henderson into the Sheffield United goal. Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 1.
Second placed Bury in League 2, behind at home against Swindon. Bury 0, Swindon 1, and Watford have just wasted a little opportunity there, Michael Brown, on the counter-attack. Delafeu is normally so good with the ball at his feet, just let it slip in the penalty area.
He did. He's going at such pace. He has a little step over, pushes the ball out, but he just pushes it too far. I think it was Jones comes round on the cover. So yeah, it was good defending really from Jones.
Juan Mata volleys the ball away. BBC Radio 5 live at Old Trafford, and we are going to take you to Lincoln against Macclesfield in League 2. Ross Heaton.
Where second from bottom Macclesfield have the lead. Sol Campbell's side in front against the runaway leaders. Top scorer Scott Wilson side-footing in his 11th of the season. Lincoln City 0, Macclesfield 1.
Here come Manchester United again with Rashford. He looks up and he sees Martial in the middle. He decides not to cross first time, plays it back to Herrera. Wimbledon have a second away to Scunthorpe. Scunthorpe 0, Wimbledon 2. Luke Shaw, who created that first goal for Manchester United, forward again, lays it off to Pogba. Pogba to Mata. Pogba goes running past him. Mata with his back to goal, lays it back out to Shaw on the left-hand side. Martial at real pace gives it to Mata. Back to Martial on the dribble. Good skills. Parsian just got a foot in right at the end and knocks it behind for the corner to Manchester United.
Brilliant play there, Martial using his pace, but what great feet he had, left and right, played that little 1-2, and he just couldn't find his way through and managed to get himself a corner.
Bury weren't behind for long. Bury 1, Swindon 1, and as you just heard, the leaders Lincoln behind at home against Sol Campbell's Macclesfield. Reading lead Preston 1-0. Clever corner into the feet of Mata, scoops it into the penalty area, comes back brilliantly saved by Foster from Martial, who thumped that with his left foot. And all we saw was a flash of blue. That was Ben Foster, got his body in the way. Otherwise, it would have been Manchester United 2, Watford 0. Martial can't believe it.
He can't believe it. It was a brilliant, well-worked corner. Routine, you talk about the training ground. Young into Juan Mata across the line. You've got to see it as they roll it across. It falls to Martial, hits it straight at Foster. This should have been 2-0 up.
Pogba big and strong, edge of the penalty area, looking for that 1-2 with Mata. Much more like it from Manchester United since they've scored the goal. Oxford 1, Wycombe 1, latest in League One. Chance for Watford to clear right through the middle. Deulofeu is offside. He keeps going and he's poked it miles wide as well, almost so badly. The ball very nearly went out for a throw-in. Saracens Glasgow's in full on 5 Live Sports Extra at the moment. It is the second quarter-final in Rugby Union's European Champions Cup. Chris Jones is there for 5 Live.
And Saracens growing more into the game after that superb Glasgow start. Alex Lazowski's lamped over a penalty after Liam Williams' try cancelled out that early Ali Price effort for Glasgow. Saracens 10, Glasgow 7 after 16 minutes.
Earlier on today it finished Edinburgh 13, Munster 17, so Munster through to the semi-finals, and it continues on Sports Extra into this evening. Leinster Ulster in full at 5:15. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Marcus Rashford into double figures in Premier League goals this season, with the only goal of the game so far. Mata surrounded by green shirts, got his pass back to Matic, wide to Shaw. Shaw delays, plays it back to Mata. It looked like he got a little shove there, slightly off balance. Tried to find Shaw again. Jan Mat intercepted. Matic is there to break it up in midfield, and he's poked the ball out for a throw into Watford. Deulofeu is down and hurt. Might have just taken a little whack in the face as he challenged for the ball. So Manchester United players will just go and check how he is. But the goal has really livened United up, hasn't it, Michael?
It has. It's given that confidence. Watford now a little bit on the back foot, but they've started to play now. Manchester United, they want to get on the ball. It's so much easier when you are winning. You've got the crowd behind you, but they could have scored, another, as we've just mentioned, and they should really be 2-0 up now.
Just mentioning there that Marcus Rashford is on 10 Premier League goals this season. Pogba's on 11. Lukaku is on 12. Not since the 95-96 season. I know you love these stats, Michael. Have Manchester United have 4 players score 10 Premier League goals or more. Scholes, Giggs, Cole and Cantona in 95-96. Martial is on 9, so when Martial scores in the Premier League again, they will match that.
Well, I'm sure he will. It's just impressive now where Rashford's come on now and matured. I love that movement he's got, and he's becoming clinical. He's going to be a real credit to Manchester United's academy, and I think he's going to be a top number 9.
Exeter 1, Mansfield 2. Exeter 1, Mansfield 2, latest in League 2, and a goal at Ellen Road. Sohail Sahi.
An equaliser for Leeds United. It's 1-1. Good work once again for Leeds by Mateus Klitsch. He found Pablo Hernandez and he swept the ball past David Martin. They're back in the game. It's Leeds United 1, Millwall 1.
You're not missing any football at the moment at Old Trafford because Deulofeu is still down. Phil Jones fell on top of him, so let's check in at the King Power. Pat Murphy.
Still 1-0 to Leicester, but Bournemouth could have scored, could have equalised, and again it's through the praise of Fraser, who's giving Pereira a skinning on the right of the pitch, on the left of the pitch rather. He did him again for pace, and there was King leaning back. He should have done better, past the post. It's Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0. A lot of chances in this game.
Bolton in the Championship are 1-0 up at QPR. They started today 8 points from safety. Real battle on their hands to try and stay in the division, but they are leading at QPR. What news from Selhurst Park, John Southall?
Well, it's a good open game. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield playing with a bit of freedom. Lervers had those 2 chances. Actually, Guaita made 2 good saves. I'm not sure I gave him the credit for the first one. Pritchard's also shot wide from the right of the D, and good crisp football by Palace. Townsend shooting just from the edge of the area. Good save by Hamer. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
So let's head down the M23. Brighton Southampton, Jonathan Overend.
Where it's still 0-0. Nice opening for Southampton, though, a few moments ago. Created by Stuart Armstrong, who's playing off the left today for Hasenhüttl's men. He found Danny Ings back in the team, first time since early February. His shot, though, was blocked by an excellent saving challenge from Bernardo. It's 0-0.
Back underway at Old Trafford. Another ball for Rashford to chase. Britos, that's not the best header from him. Rashford senses an opportunity, goes to collect the ball on the left-hand side, dummies a little back heel. Martial points where he wants the pass, but Rashford gives it to Pogba instead. Here's Shaw to Herrera. Lovely flick from Herrera. Very nearly fell for Martial on the volley, wouldn't quite come down quick enough, and Watford have cleared. Smalling heads it away for Manchester United. Another goal at Oakwell. Tom Gale.
Yeah, there has Ali, and it's the first one Barnsley have conceded since the 16th of February. Barnsley won, Coventry won, and Barnsley are not happy. They feel they should have had a free kick on the halfway line. From that attack, the ball was floated in. Geordie Huwu chested it down and slammed it home. Barnsley won, Coventry won.
Martial and Rashford very nearly working something clever here at Old Trafford, but the ball has drifted behind for a goal kick. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. Latest on the happenings at Turf Moor, Juliet Farrington.
Rather so far so good for Burnley, still 1-0 since the second minute. Chris Wood from a free kick with a strike deflecting off Conor Cody for an own goal that put Burnley in front. Hasn't been much threat from Wolves since then. I don't even think Tom Heaton's had a save to make in the first half. It's still Burnley 1, Wolves 0.
Not too far away from the big race at Doncaster, the Lincoln coming up shortly here on 5 Live. Crewe lead Cheltenham 1-0 in League 2. Reading have a second against Preston. Deulofeu is offside as Watford try to play him in behind the Manchester United backline, so Manchester United will have themselves a free kick. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. United starting today on 58 points. A win will take them level on points with Tottenham. Tottenham away to Liverpool tomorrow. One of 3 commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow, starting with the Old Firm derby at 12 o'clock, Cardiff Chelsea at 2:05, and then Liverpool Tottenham at 4:30. Deulofeu with a low cross into the Manchester United box, blocked by the heels of Matic. It runs to Mata, gives it to Shaw. Shaw on the left to Matic. This is nice from Manchester United, playing with a little bit more of a swagger now. Pogba with that long rangy stride, brings it forward, gives it to Martial, running at Cabaselli, almost left the ball behind, plays it back to Mata. Martial went looking for another free kick on the edge of the penalty area, and halfway through the full decided to stop it. Cross in from Young, blocked at the near post, and it's a chance for Watford to clear. Right, let's head to Doncaster for the Lincoln. Here's John Hunt.
At halfway, and they're all clustered in one big sunlit group here. Gorgeous day in South Yorkshire, and the favourite Auxerre taken straight to the lead. He's attempting to make all of the running. He leads from Mazem Star and Humbert just in behind those, followed then by Silver Quartz with now just over 3 to run. The sole Irish raider Salton Stall is next with a chance as well. Wahash is over on the far side. Radiance and the ever so well back second favourite Kinren is beginning his run down the stand side as well, but it's Auxerre still in front. He's been ridden so confidently by James Doyle, might take some passing as well. Kinren's trying to stay on next in second place, next to Silver Quartz. Inside the final furlong they come. Beringer coming from a long way back, but Auxerre still in front as they race with 100 metres left to go in the season's opener. Auxerre's going to win it all right. The favourites home for Charlie Appleby. What a day he's having, with cross counter and Blue Point having scored already in the big meeting in Dubai. Auxerre has thrashed Kinren, Breeden and Beringer, who all fought out for the minor places. Auxerre a really easy winner of the Lincoln.
Manchester United 1, Watford 0. It remains at Old Trafford. Will Hughes goes tumbling down on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Watford will really feel they deserve something from this first half. Can they grab it now? Deulofeu with the curler towards the far post. Phil Jones gets in the way of the shot, heads it away. Juan Mata with good vision lays it off to Pogba's got the freedom of Old Trafford here, just opens up and cruises into the Watford half, lays it off to Mata. Watford are wide open, wide to Rashford, onto his left foot, thinks about the curler and then gets the pass wrong. Couldn't find Mata. They were queuing up in the middle to try and tuck away a second for United. Deulofeu fouls Ashley Young, and Manchester United get the free kick. Michael Brown.
It was a real end-to-end, moments there as we were after the racing. We looked at Rashford down the right-hand side. He tries to go around Ben Foster. Then again, he gets another opportunity. Tries to cut inside. He could have got his shot away with his left foot. He tries to pass and loses it. It's that little bit of quality from Rashford, but he's certainly looking dangerous now.
Here they come again. United with Ashley Young. Cross took a little deflection as he tries to find Mata. Flag goes up for an offside against Juan Mata. Gillingham 0, Rochdale 1. Ian Henderson has scored in League One. Doncaster 3, Walsall 1, so 4 goals in the first half there. Derby have a second at home to Rotherham. Bradley Johnson's got that. Derby 2, Rotherham 0. And MK Dons are 1 up at Forest Green Rovers in League 2. Ashley Young is down and hurt. Little stoppage in play at Old Trafford. There's been another goal in the game between Lincoln and Macclesfield. Ross Heaton's watching that one.
And Lincoln are now level. The leaders equalising from a brilliant Neil Eardley free kick right into the top corner from 25 yards. The Imps have not lost here in 6 months, and they deserve their goal today. It's Lincoln City 1, Macclesfield 1.
League One leaders Luton have a second away to Bristol Rovers as well. Bristol Rovers 0, Luton 2. 3 minutes remaining in the first half at Old Trafford. And although Watford, Michael Brown, will feel they should have had something from this first half, last few minutes, Manchester United, when they really get it going forward, like you said, the one where Rashford got in behind and was looking for Martial with the cutback, Watford have looked more vulnerable in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, haven't they?
Well, they have. Soon as Manchester United have got any sort of passing rhythm, that bit of quality, you could have Marcus Rashford on his shoulder, pulling off. You see the confidence he's got. Obviously had that sort of composure to go around Foster. Then the next attack, he then goes out to one side, pulls onto his left foot. He could have almost curled. He was looking for that shot with his left foot, but he just gives it away. And that's the difference for him. You've got Rashford at the top of the pitch. Unfortunately, slightly different for Watford. For all their sort of endeavour, they haven't had that quality or any sort of pressure on De Gea other than a header on the back post.
Chris Smalling is all over the back of Troy Deeney as they challenge for the long clearance downfield. Now Smalling is complaining by bending forward that Deeney sort of forced him to go over the back of him, so Deeney didn't jump. It's a centre forward's trick, that, isn't it?
Well, it is. As he goes to jump, then Troy Deeney takes that extra step, gets his body in and then leans forward, so the momentum goes away from the central defender. He comes over the top and he tries to win the foul.
Closing stages of the first half at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading through the Rashford goal. Delafeu getting ready to take the free kick for Watford. It's a long way out, so Juan Mata is just a one-man wall. Delafeu is going to whip it into the far post, and then it's headed down and wide, and actually behind by Smalling for a corner. Capoue jumped with him, and had Smalling not got the header there, Capoue might have scored.
It's a great ball in. It's all about the defending. Chris Smalling, yes, he gives away the free kick seconds before, but this is a brilliant central defender. Desire in the box, in the penalty spot, to head the ball away for a corner.
Martin Waghorn has his second of the afternoon for Derby. They now lead Rotherham 3-0. Delafeu with the corner, a scuffer into the near post, hacked away by Rashford. Martial with the second clearance, and the ball goes out for a Watford throw on the left. And Oldham 1, Grimsby 0. Pete Wild back in charge of Oldham after the brief tenure of a certain fella called Paul Scholes, who's pretty well known around here. May even be in here this afternoon watching the game, but Oldham, he'll be pleased to know, are leading Grimsby by 1-0. Last minute of the first half, Manchester United 1, Watford 0. Doucouré flicks a pass to his left. Pereira chests it down, runs away from Ashley Young, strokes the ball across the pitch to the right, and Janmaat very nearly let that leap over his foot and out for a throw-in. He just recovered in time to keep it in. 3 minutes of added time remaining at the end of the first half. Pereira with the outside of his right boot flicks a pass out to Delafeu, back to Capoue, just inside the Watford half. Slow, patient build from Watford at the moment. Pereira in the centre circle looking for an option, chips it to the right again. Janmaat controls it. Luke Shaw's in his face. Janmaat looking to slide one through. Phil Jones read it well, gives it to Pogba. Options for Pogba, steps past Capoue and gives it to Mata, who immediately gives it straight back to Pogba. Rashford on the right, Mata through the middle, Mata with a little touch in the penalty area, then tries to flick a ball into Martial, and Ben Foster is able to grab it. Saracens, Glasgow. Chris Jones.
Another try for Saracens. Fantastic build-up, backs and forwards, both keeping the ball alive. And then Jamie George cleverly found David Strettle on the blind side. Classy finish from Strettle. Saracens 15, Glasgow 7, nearing the half-hour mark.
Delafeu on the charge forward for Watford, stopped in his tracks in the penalty area. Suddenly become end-to-end at the end of the first half, and Javi Gracia can't believe the space that United have coming forward. It's 4-on-4. Martial with the ball tied to his toes into the penalty area, looks to find Mata again. The final ball in the last 15 minutes from United has not come off for them. They still lead 1-0. Jonathan Overend watching Brighton against Southampton.
Still goalless. The build-up play has been a lot better than the shooting, and Exhibit A, Southampton a few moments ago, nice counter-attack. Ings feeding Redmond, inside right position, shot not just wide, well wide, disappointing. 0-0.
Here's Marcus Rashford, 10 yards inside the Watford half, goal scorer this afternoon, playing the ball back to Pogba. Pogba across to Mata. Luke Shaw is forward down the left-hand side. Will Hughes just saw him dawdling on the ball there, so nipped in to win it. Matic comes hurtling across the halfway line, and Deulofeu is coming back from the offside position. So Manchester United get the free kick. Final ball from United, Michael Brown.
I think, you used to say the final ball's not being good enough at times. The Luke Shaw was a special ball. That's the difference. Any sort of real quality. Manchester United look a threat against this Watford back four. And it's all about the counter-attack. Can they have that final ball a little bit better?
Shaw on the left, midway inside the Watford half. Little 1-2 here with Pogba, just winding down to half-time at the moment. Unless United suddenly kick into life. They might do when Pogba swings his right foot at it like that. Crossfield ball from one touchline to the other. Ashley Young is going to take on Pereira. He's not got the pace to beat him, so needs a trick here. Young on the touchline. Pereira steps in. He's conceded the foul. What a silly thing to do right at the end of the first half.
I think Ashley Young was very, very clever. He knew what was coming. He tried to go one way, then the other. And now we see maybe a booking, but Ashley Young bought the foul. He knew he was going to get tight, and it's a good opportunity for Manchester United.
Half-time scoreline's on the way here on 5 Live. You're absolutely right. Yeah, he just waited, didn't he, for Pereira to just sort of bump into him, and down he went. So you can hear the chant from the Watford fans of cheat, cheat, cheat. Troy Deeney's come in for a word with the referee, Stuart Atwell. Doucouré actually didn't like what Ashley Young had did and kind of threw the ball, not at him, but in his direction. So Young got up and had his say-so about that. But the point for Watford is, having played pretty well in the first half, they now have a difficult set piece to defend, which will be the last kick of this first half, and they're trailing 1-0. Ashley Young steps over it. Juan Mata curls it in deep to the far post. Smalling is waiting, headed away from him by Kabasele, and that is the last action of the first half at Old Trafford. It took 28 minutes for Manchester United to wake from their slumber, and then, Michael Brown, they created a quite beautiful goal that leads this game.
Well, it was a beautiful goal. We talked about the counter-attacking as the only threat. Watford started very, very well. Manchester United, Pogba in particular, wasn't very good in the first 28 minutes. Sublime pass from Luke Shaw. He made the goal himself. Into Martial with a great run. Into Rashford with a great run. A little deft finish over Ben Foster for that quality of the first half.
Manchester United's new permanent manager, slightly happier at half-time than he was in the first 25 minutes of the game. Manchester United lead Watford by a goal to nil.
He doesn't look it as he walks down the touchline, but and quite rightly so, Michael Brown, because Watford are unlucky to be behind.
They are unlucky. I thought they were excellent. I thought their movement, in possession especially, the way they got Manchester United moving. You should have seen Solskjaer come off the bench. He's having a right go at Paul Pogba, who wasn't starting very, very well. Then it was his teammates. But as we mentioned, that bit of quality from Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford was the difference in the first half.
Bristol Rovers have just pulled one back against the League One leaders Luton. Johnson Clark-Harris has got that 9th of the season for him. They're in a good run of form at Bristol Rovers. Only lost once in their last 6 under Graham Coughlin. Let's go to Saracens next, because they mean business in the Champions Cup, Chris Jones.
Yeah, they really do. They're dominating now, Sarries. The third try, too much power, too much skill, too much accuracy. Jamie George involved as ever. What a player he is. And Brad Barrett, the captain, steaming over. Lasovsky converted. Long way back for Glasgow now, isn't it? Saracens 22, Glasgow 7, 8 minutes till the break.
It's on 5 Live Sports Extra earlier. Munster made it through to the semi-finals with a 17-13 win at Edinburgh. Still playing at Turf Moor. Juliet Farrington.
Yeah, we had a couple of stoppages. Dundonker, the lengthiest towards the end of this first half. Still Burnley lead 1-0, but Dundonker looking a little bit dazed after a clash with Ashley Barnes. Wolves, though, finishing this half better than they started it. Tom Heaton yet to make a save. I think that sums it up. Burnley ahead through a Chris Wood strike. That was given as a Connor Cody own goal as the half-time whistle goes 2 minutes into this game. Came from a free kick. Wood latched onto it, turned it towards goal, wheeled away in celebration. Cody own goal, but they look good for it, Burnley. They look confident, they look organised and disciplined, and they leave Wolves here at half-time by 1-0.
Gillingham have equalised on the stroke of half-time in League One against relegation-threatened Rochdale. It's 1-1 there, and the half-time whistle has gone. If Burnley win and Southampton win, Huddersfield will go down this afternoon if they lose at Crystal Palace. However, Southampton aren't winning. Jonathan Overend.
No, it's Brighton 0, Southampton 0 at the break. Brighton have had another of their bodies on the line afternoons. Duffy and Dunk dealing with all the crosses as usual. Bernardo, the left back today, playing brilliantly. blocking from Ings and Armstrong. At the other end, Murray and Duffy have both had headers over the bar, but generally the build-up play has been better than the finishing, and the most excitement here from a Brighton point of view is when Knockaert gets the ball on the right and cuts in, but he's lacking that final ball so far. Half-time, Brighton 0, Southampton 0.
Mind you, Huddersfield aren't losing. That's the other part of this equation at the moment. John Southall.
Yes, as it stands, they are staying up. It's not a great surprise. Staying up at the moment, I should say. It's not a great surprise. It's 0-0, Palace 0, Huddersfield 0 at half-time. But it has been a fairly open half. 3 chances apiece. Huddersfield playing with a newfound freedom. 2 great chances. Chris Lerver had both of them twice denied by the Spaniard Vicente Guaita in the Palace goal. And Carlin Grant also squandered a good opening through on goal on the right. Poor finish, no conviction, drifted wide, and that is why they've only scored 18 goals this season. Palace just 13 points here this season, also had 3 chances. Batshuayi denied by a brilliant block by Eric Durm. Jeffrey Schlupp slipped at the key moment and scuffed his shot wide, and Wilf Sahar headed wide at the back post. But Palace haven't been great, booed off at half-time, 0-0.
Let's go to the King Power next. Pat Murphy.
1-0 Leicester. I don't think Wes Morgan knew a great deal about the shot he deflected from Ben Chilwell into the net early on, but hey-ho, the old count. It's a good open game. Surprised we only had 1 goal. Wonderful save from Schmeichel to deny Wilson from Bournemouth. Also, King missed a good chance at that end. At the other end, Vardy missed an absolute sitter. He normally would have buried. And then he was followed by a magnificent tackle from Daniels. It was so good just as he drew the gun on the ball that Vardy got up and gave him a tap of respect. That was a nice touch. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Let's go into the Championship. Leaders Norwich don't play till tea time. They're at Middlesbrough. Sheffield United and Leeds both looking to close the gap then. Let's start at Bramall Lane. Steve Crossman.
Sheffield United won, Bristol City won. The Blades' run of 7 home consecutive clean sheets finally over. It took a brilliant goal to end it. Andreas Weimann with a clever curling header. Don't know how he contorted his body to flick it up and over Dean Henderson and into the back of the net. It was also a header that put the Blades in front. Much more routine from Billy Sharp for his 23rd of the season, though the Bristol City defenders were complaining and asking for a foul. At the break, Sheffield United won, Bristol City won.
Same score for you, Sahel Sahi.
Yes, Mark. Half-time here, 1-1. Another breathtaking 45 minutes here at Ellen Road. Millwall with the opening goal after 10 minutes. Marlon Romeo with a whipped-in cross for Ben Thompson to head in powerfully. Leeds missed a penalty 9 minutes later. Patrick Bamford denied from the spot by the legs of David Martin. However, Pablo Hernandez was not to be denied, finishing clinically after good work by Tyler Roberts. Half-time, Leeds 1, Millwall 1.
Villa on course for a 5th straight win in the Championship, Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Aston Villa 1, Blackburn 0. An 8th minute tap-in from Tammy Abraham has given Dean Smith's side the lead at the break. Plenty of chances throughout the first half. Both sides have hit the woodwork, whilst David Raya in the Blackburn goal has been kept very busy by Tammy Abraham and John McGinn. Villa 5th as it stands and lead by a goal to 0.
Derby have had a great first half. Pride Park, they lead Rotherham by 3-0. 1 for Bradley Johnson, 2 for Martin Waghorn, 1 from the penalty spot. Waghorn now has 10 for the season. Hull have lost their last 5 away in the Championship. They're at Ipswich today. They lead against the bottom side by a goal to 0. Kamil Grzycki has got that 6 for the season for him. Goalless between Nottingham Forest and Swansea. Will Buckley's 5th of the season means Bolton lead by a goal to 0 at Loftus Road. QPR 0, Bolton 1. Reading 2. Preston 0. Yaku Mata with his 9th of the season and Mo Barrow with the other one there. Goalless between Stoke and Sheffield Wednesday, and also between Wigan and Brentford. Into League One, where our featured game is at Oakwell. Tom Gale.
Barnsley 1, Coventry 1, Mark, and just a really, really good game of football. The sun's out and both sides are here to entertain. Really attacking stuff from both. 9 minutes it was before the deadlock was broken. It was Alex Mowat's 6th of the season. Really neat passing in and around the 18-yard box. It was cut back to the back post and he couldn't miss. He was then later fouled on the halfway line. Barnsley weren't happy. Coventry carried on, rightfully so. Ball was looped in. Geordie Hawula chested it down and slammed the volley home. That's the first goal Barnsley have conceded in almost 11 hours of football. Really good watching the two managers. Daniel Stendhal, T-shirt on, kicking every ball. Mark Robbins in the Coventry dugout, still got his jumper on, scowling screwface throughout. It's Barnsley 1, Coventry 1.
Elsewhere in League One, goalless between Accrington and Fleetwood. It's Blackpool 0, Plymouth 1. Freddie Ladapo's 17th of the season there. Bristol Rovers 1. The leaders, Luton 2, unbeaten in 26. Luton, let's not forget there. Charlton lead Bradford by a goal to 0, bottom of the table. Bradford, it's Doncaster 3, Walsall 1. 2 quick goals for Doncaster there. John Marquis' 23rd of the season. season. Malik Wilkes is 15th of the season. As I said, they lead 3-1 at the Keep Moat. Gillingham 1, Rochdale 1, Oxford 1, Wickham 1, Scunthorpe 0, AFC Wimbledon 2 as they continue to try and get out of the bottom four. To Wally Downs' men, James Hansen, the former Bradford striker, got both of AFC Wimbledon's goals, and Southend, who got rid of Chris Powell on Tuesday, are being held at home by Shrewsbury. Southend 0, Shrewsbury 0. Into League 2, let's find out how the leaders are doing. Lincoln at home to Macclesfield. Ross Heaton.
Half-time Lincoln 1, Macclesfield 1. The second from bottom, Siltman taking a shock lead with a composed side-footed effort from Scott Wilson. But the table-topping Imps, who've only lost to Everton in 2019, are deservedly level from a superb Neil Eardley free kick, which was arrowed into the top corner. The leaders only need 10 points to guarantee promotion. It's Lincoln City 1, Macclesfield 1.
Elsewhere in League 2, Bury 1, Swindon 1. It's goalless between Cambridge and Colchester. Crewe 1, Cheltenham 1. Mansfield lead at Exeter by 2-1. Both goals scored by Chris Hamilton. He's got 12 for the season now. Forest Green Rovers 0. MK Dons 1. Kieran Agard's 21st of the season. The difference between the two sides there. Goalless between Morecambe and Crawley. Northampton 1. Port Vale 1. Port Vale down to 10 men though in that game. Oldham lead Grimsby by 1-0. Chris O'Grady's 8th of the season there. Astonishing score at Stevenage, although they have won only one of their last 8 games. But they are 3-0 down at home to the bottom side Notts County after 45 minutes. Tranmere, who've won their last 6 in League 2, lead at half-time. 1-0 up on Carlisle, and it's goalless between Yeovil and Newport. Into the Scottish Premiership, Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. Kilmarnock 1, Hamilton 0. Goalless between Motherwell and St Johnstone. And Roddy Forsyth is watching the bottom 2.
Yes, at a warm, if windy, Simple Digital Arena, where St Mirren and Dundee are drawing 1 each at half-time. Dundee striking before many spectators had taken their seats. 35 seconds on the clock when O'Sullivan, who's been at the heart of most of it for Dundee, struck across for Ethan Robson to shoot low through a throng of players. 12 minutes gone. Danny Mullen drew St Mirren level, and it was a masterstroke to play him. He hadn't played since December, and he hadn't scored a goal since August. On that occasion he got 2, and guess who they were against? Yes, Dundee. So he's got the Indian sign over the Dens Parkers, and that's why at half-time it's St Mirren 1, Dundee 1.
Elsewhere in Scotland, in the Championship, might be a surprise here. Alloa, bottom of the Championship, lead the leaders Ross County by 1-0. Goalless between Dundee United and Queen of the South. And Inverness and Falkirk, it's Morton 0, Partick Thistle 3. In League 1, Brechin 0, Airdrieonians 2. Dumbarton 0, Stenhouse Muir 1. East Fife 1, Wraith 0. Forfar 1, Arbroath 1 and Montrose 2, Stranraer 0. Albion Rovers 0, Clyde 1 as we begin League 2. Berwick 0, Edinburgh City 2. Elgin 0, Annan 1. Peterhead 1, Cowden Beath 1 and Queen's Park 0, Stirling 0. One division that we haven't given you in the National League in England. Lunchtime, Aldershot 0, AFC Fylde 0. Leyton Orient, who are the leaders, are being held at Barnet. Barnet 0, Leyton Orient 0. Barrow 1, Boreham Wood 2. Braintree 1, Gateshead 0. Braintree actually could get relegated today if they don't beat Gateshead, but they are doing as things stand. Goalless between Chesterfield and Dagenham and Redbridge. Eastleigh lead Hartlepool by 2-1. Ebbsfleet 3, Wrexham 0, which will be a dent for Wrexham's hopes of getting automatic promotion. FC Halifax 0, Maidenhead 0, Harrogate 1, Maidstone 1, Salford 0, Bromley 0, and Solihull Moors, who are also looking at automatic promotion if they can catch Leyton Orient, are behind at half-time. They trail Dover by 2-1. And finally in the National League, Sutton 1, Havant and Waterlooville 1. They're approaching half-time at Saracens. They lead Glasgow 22 points to 13. It's on Sports Extra if you want to listen to that. And let's just round up what happened in the Lincoln with John Hunt.
You'll remember last year, Mark, trainer Charlie Appleby had a wonderful year on the turf. He won the Derby with Massar. Later on, won the Melbourne Cup as well in Flemington, Australia. And he started the new flat season here domestically with a very fluent win with favourite Auxerre, 2 1/4 lengths too good for a field of 19. Led all the way, absolutely trotted up really under James Doyle, the jockey, who was winning it for the second year running. So Auxerre, 5-2 favourite, beat Kinwren at 9-2. And we had a dead heat for third place between Breedon at 40-1 and also Beringer at 9-1.
Thank you very much, John. Don't forget, next Saturday, 5 Live Sport will come live from Aintree for the Grand National. 5:15 it gets underway, and it will be followed by the first of the FA Cup semi-finals as Manchester City take on Brighton. 1 minute past 4. Here's the latest BBC News with Richard Foster.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Leader of the House of Commons, Andrea Leadsom, says she's confident that the government will deliver Brexit despite another defeat for Theresa May's withdrawal agreement yesterday. The Prime Minister said to be considering a fourth attempt to get backing for the deal. The Rolling Stones are postponing their US tour, which had been due to start in Miami next month. The band says Mick Jagger needs medical treatment. They say he's expected to make a full recovery. More details have been revealed about the final moments of the Ethiopian Airlines flight, which crashed 3 weeks ago. The Wall Street Journal says one pilot urged the other to pitch the plane's nose up before their radio stopped working. An anti-stall device on the 737 has been blamed for the disaster, in which 157 people died. The Scottish Government says radical steps are needed to reduce the number of drug-related deaths in the country. 934 people are known to have died as a result of drugs in 2017. That's 66 more than in the previous year. And a catfish weighing more than 11 kilos has been removed from a lake in Essex after children said they'd seen it eating ducks. Fishing contests are going to be held at the Lakeside Shopping Centre in Thurrock to try to prevent it happening again. F1, the Australian Grand Prix.
All 5 lights are on, and we're racing in Melbourne. It's a slow start from Vettel. It's a good start from Bottas. Vettel gets a good initial bit, and there's Daniel Ricciardo off. He's lost his front wing, and Bottas is into the lead.
It was a Team Mercedes 1-2 in Australia, with Red Bull's Verstappen in third. Next, it's Destination Sakir, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Full race commentary from 4 p.m. on Sunday. F1 on 5 Live Sports Extra. This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
And qualifying has just finished for that Bahrain Grand Prix. Jack Nicholls, who's on pole?
It's Charles Leclerc. He becomes the second youngest ever pole sitter in Formula One. He outqualifies his World Championship winning teammate Sebastian Vettel. Ferrari's first and second. Mercedes not too far away in the end. Hamilton was only 0.03 of a second slower than Vettel, so we've very much got a race on our hands tomorrow. Bottas and the other Mercedes in fourth. But the big news, Charles Leclerc becomes the first pole sitter for Ferrari in his second race for the team.
So coverage of the Bahrain Grand Prix, commentary of the Bahrain Grand Prix on Sports Extra tomorrow. On Sports Extra now, Saracens Glasgow, Chris Jones.
It's half-time here and Saracens are in control at 22 points to 13 up. They've scored 3 really well-taken tries through Liam Williams, David Strettle and captain Brad Barrett. Alex Good has slipped into fly half seamlessly, while Owen Farrell is with his wife as they await the birth of their first child. Jamie George, meanwhile, outstanding at hooker. But Glasgow started and finished the half well, and Ali Price try opened the scoring after some very slick Glasgow attack, while Adam Hastings lamped over 2 long-range penalties to keep the visitors in touch at half-time, 22-13.
In the Premier League then, earlier on, Fulham 0, Manchester City 2. Half-time, Brighton 0, Southampton 0, Burnley 1, Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. As things stand, Huddersfield aren't going down today. Leicester lead Bournemouth by a goal to 0. And at Old Trafford, Manchester United 1, Watford 0. They've just got back underway. Michael Brown and Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Thank you, Mark. I know your half-time roundup will have been comprehensive. Have you done golf news as well?
No, I haven't. No.
Tiger Woods 3 up on McIlroy into the back 9 in the last 16 of the WGC World Match Play. I'm hearing.
Thanks for pointing out where I failed in that comprehensive roundup.
Thank you, Mark. I'm sure I'll fail at some point in this second half here at Old Trafford. Back underway, Manchester United leading Watford 1-0. Watford come forward early in this second half. They are all in green. Attacking the east stand away to our right-hand side. Delafeu with an awkward dipping shot there, and David De Gea watched it all the way into the gloves on the half volley he took. It just bounced in front of him, got his body behind it, and Paul Pogba is trying to dribble out of a really tight spot inside his own half, and Doucouré has taken the ball off him, and then Deeney's looking to feed in Delafeu, and as Delafeu made the run into the penalty area, the ball just clipped him on the right heel, and Manchester United were able to clear. So United 1, Watford 0. Adam Messina shoots, it runs to Deeney, and Deeney just couldn't get the ball away from underneath his feet, and Luke Shaw was able to get in and make the challenge. But a couple of looks at goal early in the second half for the visitors.
It has been. It's a good start again from Watford. I'm sure that will be what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stressed.
Ashley Young is looking for Anthony Martial, making a good run into the box, sliding challenge on him, and the ball is behind for a Manchester United corner. Michael Brown.
Yeah, they've been stressing that they must have a better start than the first half. It took, as I say, 28 minutes for a fabulous ball from Luke Shaw to open the scoring, but a good counter-attack again in the end after Watford's dominance in the first couple of minutes of this second half.
So, United corner. Juan Mata from the right wing goes deep, looking for Smalling, and Stuart Atwell spotted a push in the penalty area, so Watford get a free kick. United, De Gea in goal, back four of Young, Smalling, Jones and Shaw, Matic, Herrera and Pogba as a midfield three, Mata, Martial and Rashford the goal scorer. Jones with a header back to his goalkeeper De Gea. Watford, FA Cup semi-final, they're playing in a week tomorrow. You'll be able to hear that in full on 5 Live, of course. So Javi Gracia changed the goalkeeper and the back four today. Ben Foster's in goal, Janmat, Kabasele, Britos and Messina, a slightly unfamiliar looking back four, and then much more familiar ahead of them. Capoue and Doucouré have been an excellent partnership in midfield this season. Hughes on the right, Pereira on the left, and Deulofeu playing off Troy Deeney. And on the highlights at half-time, they were just going over the chances in the game. Watford had some really good ones in the first half, and actually probably the best of them fell to Doucouré very early when he dragged the shot wide of the near post, and the area at the far post was just begging for him to kill the ball there to test De Gea.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity early on in the game, and obviously another one with Troy Deeney, a header at the back post as well, tried to head it across, but it was a good save by De Gea. They certainly should have got a goal in that first half.
Here's Rashford. It's just popped up on the left-hand side to the corner of the Watford penalty area, plays it to Pogba. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Phil Jones both got stuck into Paul Pogba early in the game because they felt he was cruising a little. Rashford is tackled here in the Watford right back position. Will Hughes has done well and then tries to dribble away down the right hand side. Shaw too strong for him, but Stuart Atwell says that's a foul. The players were shoulder to shoulder. Free kick Watford. Michael Brown, I don't think you agree.
No, I don't agree. It was never a foul by Luke Shaw. Great defender. It's been interesting to see them too. Will Hughes, a good young player, started off at Derby County. He started very, very well. But just going back to Phil Jones, it's amazing how such a turnaround for him personally. He wasn't even in the squad, in the team. Jose Mourinho making fun of him regarding a penalty shootout, and now he's there, the central defender, thinking, I would never have played. He must be delighted really with the signing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
United 1, Watford 0. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the club's new permanent manager, who will be looking to get Manchester United finishing in the top 4 this season to guarantee Champions League again next season. Ashley Young at right back hurriedly clears with his right foot. It's still bright blue skies and lovely sunshine here in Manchester as United play out of their own half, and Mata, his ball across to Pogba is just intercepted. Otherwise United were on the move, and the United coaching staff seem to be taking it in terms of getting down to the edge of the pitch and having a word. Mike Phelan is out there at the moment. Goal in the game between Barnsley and Coventry. Tom Gale.
There's Ali. It's Barnsley 2, Coventry 1. Corley Woodrow, he's had 3 attempts in the space of 3 minutes. The first one, he scuffed it, skied it, looked at the floor and dismissed. The second was a header wide. The third, though, really neat, intricate passing into the box. Picked his spot in the top right-hand corner. It's Barnsley 2, Coventry 1.
Barnsley starting the day in second spot, 5 points behind the leaders Luton. Luton, last we heard, were winning at Bristol Rovers. Barnsley leading Coventry 2-1. Watford bringing the ball slowly forward down the left-hand side with Deulofeu. He's got a dainty little player. Doucouré finds Will Hughes on the turn on the edge of the box. Just lost his balance there. Phil Jones steps in to win it. Pogba looking to release Rashford early. Low ball intercepted just inside his own half by the Belgian Christian Kabasele. Javi Gracia in a thigh-length hooded coat applauds that from his central defender as Janmat plays the ball across the Manchester United half. Still only 1-0. Watford very much still in this game. Pereira on the run down the left-hand side. Skins Young, plays it back into Troy Deeney. Deeney with his back to goal, lays it back to the edge of the box. Doucouré is looking to try and get this shot away. Janmat's in loads of space on the right, tees it up and then hits a terrible shot, which goes high and wide and behind for the goal kick.
Well, it was brilliant play again from Watford. They're working Manchester United down the left-hand side. Ashley Young had difficulties. It comes back with Deeney across the pitch. And as you say, it comes out to Janmat, but poor execution from the full-back. Probably doesn't get that far too often, but he blazes the ball over the bar. Very poor.
He has scored for Watford before. He's not done so this season. And that wasn't his best strike. David De Gea plants the ball right in the middle of the 6-yard box, all in bright orange, shiny white gloves, and seems to get slightly underneath the goal kick there. It drops just inside the Watford half. Mata, well, he thought he'd been fouled, went down from a shove in the back, or so he thought. Capoue plays the ball away to the left-hand side. Delafeu into the penalty area, lays it back to the edge of the box. Pereira shoots and De Gea gets down and makes the save. First goal of the game at Brighton, Jonathan Overend.
It's Southampton who've got it, and it's a counter-attack, a gift really, because Brighton gave the ball away in midfield, and before you knew it, Nathan Redmond was bearing down on goal. He fed Højbjerg, the captain, and it's Brighton 0, Southampton 1.
Big goal for Southampton. Huddersfield, of course, could be relegated today depending on results. We'll head to Selhurst Park in just a second after we see what Watford can do with this corner. Manchester United lead them 1-0. Whipped into the near post. Flick on by Capoue. Volleyed away by Luke Shaw. Watford only have one man downfield to control that on the halfway line. Nicely done and given to Will Hughes, looking for the long ball to Deeney. Manchester United can let that slide, and it goes behind for the goal kick. So as it stands, Southampton are winning and Burnley are winning, which means if Huddersfield lose today, they will be relegated. John Southall's watching them at Palace.
Absolutely, that adds a bit more to events here. It's Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. It's Palace at the moment on the attack, and a decent shot coming in from Tompkins, held by the keeper Hamer to his right-hand side. Huddersfield have been the better side in this second half, but Palace have had the better chance. Patrick Van Arnholt curling right foot shot just on the left of the area, well saved by Hamer. But as you say, if Huddersfield lose now and the results stay as they are, they will go down today. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
Premier League table as it stands, I'll give you in just a second, because Juan Mata is sweeping a ball with his left foot wide to Rashford. It was slightly behind Rashford, so he had to scurry back to collect it. Then Rashford's cross is blocked on the edge of the area, but Palace, if they draw that game, would be on 34 points. Brighton on 33, Southampton on 33, and Burnley on 33, with Cardiff in the relegation zone on 28. They're at home to Chelsea tomorrow. One of 3 commentaries on 5 Live Sport. Derby have a 4th against Rotherham. Mason Mount has got that. Hull City 2-0 up at Ipswich. Grzycki has his 2nd of the game. Will Hughes tackled by Luke Shaw. Defending deep for Manchester United, clears with his left foot. Shrewsbury 1 up at Southend in League One. And Crewe down to 10 men in their game. George Ray has been sent off. They're at home against Cheltenham, but Crewe down to 10. Pereira for Watford into the Manchester United penalty area. Tricks back onto his right foot. Here is Pereira now. Just knocked it a little too far ahead of him. Shaw slides in, won the ball. And for some reason, Capoue has tried to shoot from 40 yards and smacked it into the east stand. Goal kick for Manchester United, and we're going to get a slight stoppage in play because Pereira's down hurt. So let's get the latest thoughts from Michael Brown.
Well, again, you're just looking. I think the main man for me is Decore in the middle of the park for Watford. Everything's going through him, his range of passing, his ability on the ball. Really being impressed with him today so far in the game. He's very, very cool on the ball wherever he is. He's pressed, he's won the ball back. It's been a great performance, a good team performance really from Watford, considering coming to Manchester United. But Manchester United, as we say, just that little bit of quality so far.
Battle of the bottom teams in the Scottish Premiership has seen another goal. St Mirren Dundee ready for Scythe.
Yes, we're almost on the hour mark, and St Mirren, having fallen behind after only 35 seconds, are now in the lead. A sweeping counter-attack, a deep cross, and there was Brad Lyons only around 6 yards out, a full-blooded header, and it's St Mirren 2, Dundee 1, and if it stays like that, Dundee will go bottom.
Roberto Pereira still receiving treatment here for Watford. Kilmarnock lead Hamilton 2-0 in the Scottish Premiership as well. Just seeing whether Watford are looking at making the change, and the other concern obviously for Watford and for Pereira himself is cup semi-final a week tomorrow against Wolves. So Javi Gracia won't want to take any chances. They have made a change, haven't they? Daryl Janmat has come off and Kiko Femenia has come on, so they made a switch at right back. Janmat, who missed that half decent opportunity early in this second half, is off. Femenia is on, and Joey Barton's Fleetwood have scored at Accrington, so it's Accrington 0, Fleetwood 1, and it's been a slightly lazy, lackadaisical start to this second half at Old Trafford. Manchester United lead the game 1-0. Sports report on the way from 5 o'clock. We'll have updates on West Ham Everton as we head towards 6:06 this evening, with Jason and Robbie taking the calls tonight. And should remind you as well, watch all the highlights of the Premier League football on Match of the Day, 10:30 BBC One. Shaw lost the ball for Manchester United. Pereira has it, edge of the area, plays it across to Deulofeu. Deulofeu running at this Manchester United defence. Couple of step overs into the box, still going. United have a chance to clear. There's another penalty at Ellen Road. Here's Sohail Sahi.
This time for Millwall, Alistair. It's Ben Marshall who's about to take it. It's 1-1 and now it's 2-1 to Millwall. Leeds missed a penalty in the first half. They did equalise, but they've just conceded one and they're trailing at home to Millwall by 2-1.
Doucouré is going to shoot for Watford. That is blocked inside the Manchester United box. Matic overruns it. Will Hughes with the curler just wide. And behind for the Manchester United goal kick. Chris Smalling says we need to get rid of that quicker. And Pogba, twice in this second half, has been caught in position trying to dribble out for Manchester United.
They are full credit to Watford. They're pressing at all opportunity. That was Troy Deeney. He managed just to get his body in. It fell to Will Hughes. He tried that curling ball around the right outstretched De Gea, but he was just wide of the left-hand post. Great effort from Will Hughes.
Derby 4, Rotherham 1. Now our latest in the Championship. Shouldn't underestimate the importance of this game for Manchester United, Michael. In terms of this race for the top four, Tottenham 61, Arsenal 60, United 58, Chelsea 57. I mean, they might not have to win every single game, but you know they can't afford to drop points. They've got the lead and they've got to see this through. And Deulofeu is running at them again, gives it to Pereira. The angle is tight and Ashley Young slides in and makes the tackle. The ball is not going to go out for a throw. Deulofeu collects it for Watford on the left-hand side. Beats Ashley Young onto his right foot. Cross in, aimed for Deeney. Phil Jones barges into Deeney. Smalling is there to head the ball away for United. Deulofeu's going to get another go over on the left, just outside the area. Finds Doucouré. Doucouré's ball back, looking for Deeney, and Deeney's just outnumbered and outmuscled at the near post. And Manchester United hack it away for another Watford throw.
It's been brilliant from Watford down that left-hand side. They're putting pressure on Ashley Young wherever they can. That's where Ashley Young needs Herrera to come over and help him. Another midfielder or your right-sided central defender. Can you get across and limit the space? Manchester United are too wide open at the moment. He's been able to push it left, push it right on Ashley Young.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is out again to get his message across. Slightly similar start to the second half from United that they made to the first half. Last we heard at the Amex, Southampton were leading Brighton 1-0. Jonathan Overend.
Still that way. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, fourth of the season. Since the goal, though, it's been all Brighton. Knockaert, who scored that screamer at Palace last time out, fancied his chances again just over the bar, and also proper shooting from range straight at gun. Brighton 0, Southampton 1.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to make a change, and the three substitutes are just trying to work out between them who it is that is going to be coming on. Manchester United lead Watford 1-0. Watford have it, though, inside the United half. Mansfield are 3-1 up at Exeter in League Two. Here's Doucouré. Doucouré sees Femenia, who's on as the second half substitute, in a lot of space on the right-hand side. Looking for a runner ahead of him. He has to come back to the halfway line. This is Capoue. Let's check in at Turf Moor quickly. Juliet Farrington.
Well, Wolves are having so much of a better second half than they were the first. There's still a goal down there, making a double substitution. Jimenez and Doherty are coming on for the remainder of this game. Still Burnley lead 1-0, largely thanks to that Conor Cody own goal, but they're having a real good spell here, Wolves, and Burnley are under a real good spell of pressure. 1-0 Burnley still lead.
Manchester United under pressure too, leading Watford 1-0. Doucouré's cross is beyond Troy Deeney, so a chance for Ashley Young to clear. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. Sean Clare has equalised from the penalty spot for Hearts, which reminds me to tell you that Celtic Rangers in full. First of three commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow, kicking off at midday. Ball breaks for Matic inside the United half, and then he just walks it straight into the feet of Etienne Capoue.
Very, very disappointing. Watford are smothering Manchester United. There's some action down at the bench. He's going to make some changes, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You see Lingard now coming forward. He needs to make changes. He needs to react now, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Left-hand side for Watford is Deulofeu, who really has caused Manchester United some problems. Juan Mata in with a challenge, and he just comes in to hack the ball, and from outside his own box, almost as if he was shooting, has smashed it behind for a Watford corner. Bury 1, Swindon 2, and last we heard, Lincoln 1, Macclesfield 1. So the top two in League Two not having things their own way. Jesse Lingard is stripped off and ready to go. Andreas Pereira as well, the Brazilian, is also getting ready to come on for Manchester United. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not happy really with the way things have been going this afternoon, and you can understand why. So changes coming. Crossing from Doucouré. Rashford on the half volley, clears it away. Femenia, miles out, dipping shot, and De Gea grabs it at the second attempt. Comfortably made the save. It was just whether the rebound was going to spill out to an on-rushing Watford player.
If you look at that long-range shot, Ali, that's where the goalkeeper, they don't get the credit sometimes. The balls do move late, and that's obviously caught De Gea on the hop. Has recently just let one in at Arsenal, so again, it nearly happened.
Ashley Young with a cross on the right-hand side. Manchester United right down the other end of the field. Double change about to be made, so a nice little break in play gives us a chance to get to Selhurst Park. Huddersfield in danger of relegation from the Premier League this afternoon. John Southall.
Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield corner on the right-hand side, cleared away by Crystal Palace. I think Huddersfield will be happy with this. They've played well this afternoon. I think they've been the better side. But we did see Wilfred Zaha stirring on the left flank, cutting from that side. It was a weak shot, good block. But as it stands, as you say, they're not going down today, but if they were to lose this game, they would be relegated. And here's Andres Townsend! What a chance for Townsend on the left-hand side, 8 yards out, and he has dragged it wide. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
Rhyming substitution here. Pereira for Herrera. Pat Murphy's at Leicester.
Still 1-0 Leicester. Really, it should be about 3-2, possibly 4-3. A lot of chances flying around here as the game opens up. Tielemans to Maddison, lovely pass. Vardy just couldn't control it. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Lingard on for Mata. Can't really work something with that one, so we'll leave that. Yeovil 0, Newport 1. Yeovil having sacked Darren Way in the week, in real trouble down near the bottom of League 2. Macclesfield and Notts County still the bottom two, but Notts County are winning as things stand this afternoon. Ashley Young trying to muscle his way through on the right-hand side. He's blocked, wanted a free kick, doesn't get it. Goal kick for Watford. Kilmarnock having a good afternoon. They lead Hamilton 3-0. Last we heard, Villa led Blackburn 1-0 at Villa Park. They've been in great form, Aston Villa. There's been another goal, Aaron Paul.
It's now 2-0. Tyrone Mings with a downwards header following a ball from the left-hand side. Villa now 2 goals to the good and looking to extend their run to 6 unbeaten. Villa 2, Blackburn 0.
Here come Watford again with Pereira charging at the United defence, overran the ball. Chris Smalling is able to make the tackle. Andreas Pereira then gets his first touch since coming onto the field, plays it back to Ashley Young inside the United half. He'll come all the way back to David De Gea. Latest in the League One game that we are featuring, Barnsley Coventry. Tom Gale.
Barnsley 2, Coventry 2. Ali, the away side have got themselves back in it. Really lovely stuff. Luke Thomas on loan from Derby, step over, digged it into the top left hand corner. He's gone away to celebrate in front of the Coventry faithful, a number who've taken off their shirts in the glorious sunshine. Barnsley 2, Coventry 2.
And our Saracens heading for the semi-finals of the Champions Cup. Chris Jones.
Looks like it. They've struck first in this second half. Alex Osofsky with a penalty to extend their lead. You feel the Warriors have to score next, otherwise it's Saracens who will play Munster in the last 4. Saracens 25, Glasgow 13, 5 minutes into the second half.
Thanks Chris. Commentary over on 5 Live Sports Extra, as there is of Leinster Ulster from 5:15 this evening. Villa 2, Blackburn 0. You know about Tranmere on a great run of form in League 2. James Norwood has scored again for them. Tranmere 2, Carlisle 0. You're up to date with everything around and about, up and down the country. And here's another chance possibly for Watford. Deeney with a chip here and can't get it over De Gea. That was inventive. He was only maybe 13 yards from goal, just trying to catch De Gea out. Felt it was the only way he could beat him. De Gea was able to grab it with both hands. Ashley Young looking for the ball down the line to Pereira. Messina has it covered and it's out for a Watford throw. Nice try from Deeney, Michael. Nice try from Deeney.
Yeah, it was a nice try, but it was all about the right-hand side. Little intricate play, Will Hughes, Kiko. So again, the move of Manchester United around, they can't live with them at the moment. Great pressure, and Troy Deeney's tries a little dink where maybe he could have put his foot through it and tested De Gea out.
Trying to do that famous Eric Cantona finish, that wonderful haughty celebration after he managed it. Free kick goes Watford's way for a foul on Paul Pogba. Palace have gone close at Selhurst Park. John Southall.
How have they not scored? Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Wilf Zaha through on goal, tried to go round the goalkeeper Hamer, stumbled, lost his way, fell to Townsend. His follow-up was blocked. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0. Here come Huddersfield at the other end with Grant. Good save at his near post by the goalkeeper Guaita. Palace 0, Huddersfield 0.
Forest Green 1, MK Dons 1. League 2, Watford want handball. They get handball. Free kick for them, 35 yards from the Manchester United goal in the inside left position, and just a slight nervousness in the air at the moment, Michael Brown, inside Old Trafford, because the United fans just sense there might be a slip here somewhere.
It looks that way. They're very, very quiet for a reason. Watford are controlling this game. They're controlling possession. They've made changes now. They put Lingard in off Rashford. We're waiting to see how his setup has changed. But the pressure's on. They're controlling the game. Another dangerous opportunity for Watford.
Almost at the midway point of the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. Watford free kick. Delafeu with his right foot whipped into the penalty area. Smalling up above Deeney to win the header. Volley is hit with power from Capoue, but always rising over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And Yeovil have conceded a second at home against Newport. Yeovil 0, Newport 2. Who did you catch the eye of just sitting over the other side there? Is that sitting there you were chatting to?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Ali.
Oh, right.
They were just looking at the screen and actually looking and sort of saying, why are Manchester United not getting close to people?
Oh, right.
And that's the point. They're not getting close. People are getting frustrated near us.
Maybe we'll have to introduce ourselves later in the second half. Manchester United 1, Watford 0. Ladies from Bramall Lane, Steve Crossman.
Sheffield United 1, Bristol City 1, but Bristol City have just hit the post from a free kick. Josh Brownhill right-footed over the wall, and Dean Henderson just watched it go by. It is a brilliant open game, this. Still level at 1-1. It means Sheffield United going 2 points above Leeds, but 3 below Norwich as it stands. And I think some people here are listening to you, Ali, because there was a bit of a murmur when Millwall scored at Ellen Road. Still 1-1.
Thank you, Steve. Middlesbrough-Norwich kicks off at 5:30 in the Championship this evening. We'll keep you updated on that one. Chris Smalling has conceded a free kick right down by the byline here for Manchester United. It was Pereira who went down and won it, so more defending for the home team to do. Delafeu stands hands on hips, waiting to take it. Motherwell 1, St Johnstone 0. Michael Brown.
Well, just looking there, it's very unfortunate for Chris Smalling to give away a free kick. Thought it was very, very soft. He's been really, the one who's been clearing the lines for Manchester United, trying to keep them intact at the, in the middle of their back four. They're under pressure. He needs a leader like that, and that's what he's doing.
Delafeu is going to take a good long run at this. Down by the byline. Dipper with power to the far post. It's Smalling who is there again. Flicks the header away. Throw in for Watford. That was another stat that struck me ahead of this game, Michael. Manchester United have only kept 2 clean sheets at home in the Premier League this season against Crystal Palace and Liverpool. 2 0-0 draws. Only Fulham have a worse record than that at home in the Premier League because they've only kept 1.
It's an amazing stat. It just shows you, the type of job he's done, how really games have been tight. People have come to Manchester United believing that they can do well, and we're witnessing it again. So it's not just there now because they've had a good run under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's work to do here. There's still much more improvement, and as he even said in his press conference, the work starts now.
David De Gea clearing with his right foot, out for a throw-in to Watford, who, much like the first half, have had much the better of the first 25 minutes of this period, have not been able to take their chances. The ball hasn't quite fallen for them. David De Gea has made one excellent save in this second half, low to his right-hand side, and that's why Manchester United's defence still intact. They lead 1-0 with just over 20 minutes to play, and Watford, even though they've got this cup semi-final coming up next week, have given this a right good go. They're at home to Fulham on Tuesday night. Another try in the game between Saracens and Glasgow. Chris Jones.
Well, that might well be the game, Ali. Saracens with a killer blow, the usual patient, powerful build-up. Then Liam Williams cut a great line to score. Lazowski twisted the knife. Saracens 32, Glasgow 13. Sarri's heading for the last 4.
Bolton with a second at QPR. QPR 0, Bolton 2. QPR with 1 win in their last 14 games. 2-0 down at home to Bolton, who is still fighting in the Championship. Huddersfield still fighting. Remember, Southampton are ahead at Brighton. Burnley lead Wolves by a goal to 0. If Huddersfield lose today and those 2 results stay as they are, then Huddersfield could be going down. Marcus Rashford is being asked to chase a ball down the right-hand side. He's going to get onto that from Pogba into the penalty area. Low cross into the near post, and Feminier is there to clear with his left foot. So what about Huddersfield at Palace? John Southall.
Well, your timing is impeccable, because Wilf Zaha, not for the first time this season, has been brought down in the penalty area, and Crystal Palace have a penalty. And we all know who's going to take this one. It's Luka Milivojevic, the Serbian. 8 penalties so far this season. He has scored of his 9 goals. He last missed on the 21st of October 2018. Of his 19 penalties for the club, he's missed just 2. He says he practices penalties and he knows which side he's going to put it before the game even kicks off. He studies the goalkeepers, and here he is. This could be the moment. that Huddersfield are relegated back to the Championship, because Luka Milivojevic, the ball is on the spot in front of the Homesdale Road end, steps up, right-footed, and of course he scores. 10th of the season, 9th penalty he scored, and is that the goal that consigns Huddersfield to the Championship? Palace 1, Huddersfield 0.
Pereira on the ball for Manchester United to Lingard, and Martial almost tucks it into the near post, back on his feet and scores for Manchester United. That'll be the game for them. Into the top 4 they go. Again, not at their best at the start of this second half, but they've managed to find that second goal. Martial scrambles it home from close range. Manchester United 2, Watford 0.
Well, it's this very, very strange goal down the right-hand side. Good work from Lingard. He fires the ball across. Martial tries to backheel into the net. The sort of ricochets between him and Foster. He manages to get up first and scoop the ball into the open net to get that goal that Manchester United desperately needed.
Things happening at the top end and the bottom end of the Premier League table. Manchester United moving to 61 points. Tottenham just ahead of them on 61 points, ahead of them on goal difference. Arsenal are on 60. They drop out of the top 4 as things stand. Another goal at Bramall Lane in the Championship. Steve Crossman.
Bramall Lane has erupted. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 1. Chris Wilder rewarded for bringing on a third centre forward at half-time in this game, because he's just scored Scott Hogan's first goal for the club, getting on the end of a George Baldock cross. He headed it into the back of the net, and with 18 minutes to go, the Blades are going a point behind Norwich. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 1.
Another big game in the race for the top 2 is Leeds Millwall. Goal there, Sohail Sahi.
And Ellen Road is a cauldron of noise, as well as Leeds United have equalised through Luke Ayling. Good work down the left-hand side. The ball was lofted to the far post. Ayling with a header beat David Martin. It's now Leeds United 2, Millwall 2.
That's why working on the Saturday afternoon, Michael Brown, is so much fun, because just in the space of a few moments there, United going into the top 4, Huddersfield are getting relegated as it stands, and Sheffield United and Leeds have both scored.
Brilliant. 2 of my old teams there getting goals right where it's needed at the top of the Championship, but goals everywhere. Brilliant.
Andre Gray is on for Watford. Pereira's crossing in from the right-hand side. They played really well here, Watford, at Old Trafford, but they trail by 2 goals to 0. Doucouré with a step over, takes on Pogba, beats him once. Gives it to Will Hughes. Gray made a run off there on the edge of the penalty area. Hughes couldn't find him. Martial tripped by Will Hughes. Free kick for Manchester United, and we're going to head to the King Power Stadium. Leicester against Bournemouth. Pat Murphy.
It's still 1-0 to Leicester. Morgan's goal early on. I'm amazed we've only had 1 goal, because both sides have carved out chances, and Bournemouth are going for it, of course they are, and they're getting themselves more and more vulnerable to the counter-attack. Vardy shot on the turn, well blocked by Begovic. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 0.
Martin Waghorn has a hat-trick for Derby this afternoon, 2 of them from the penalty spot. Derby have 6 against Rotherham. Derby 6, Rotherham 1. I think I might have actually missed the 5th goal as well. That was scored by Dwayne Holmes. I think you're up to date on everything else. Next stop, Turf Moor, Juliet Ferrington.
And despite being a goal down, Wolves are dominating this second half. They are controlling this match as they go in search of an equaliser, which would also save Huddersfield for another weekend if this scoreline changes. Still Burnley lead 1-0. Wolves have made all 3 substitutions. Costa, the latest, coming on. He's replaced Traore. Burnley still lead by 1-0.
Another goal at Villa Park, Aaron Paul.
Game on here, Aston Villa 2, Blackburn 1. Amari Bell tapping in after Charlie Mulgrew's free kick was parried out by Jed Steer. We have 17 minutes to go here. It's going to be a tense 17 minutes for these Aston Villa fans. Villa 2, Blackburn 1.
Blackpool 0, Plymouth 2, latest score line. Manchester United leading Watford 2-0 here with 15 minutes to play. How have Huddersfield responded to events at Selhurst Park? John Southall.
Well, they've responded well. Palace 1, Huddersfield 0. They're showing a bit of character. Pritchard cut in from the left-hand side. Decent effort as well. Inches wide of the left-hand post, but time is running out for them. We're slightly ahead of you here. We've played 35 minutes in the second half. 10 to play, 10 minutes for Huddersfield to save themselves. Palace 1, Huddersfield 0.
Yeah, just to confirm, as it stands, Huddersfield are going down because Southampton Everton are leading, and Burnley are leading at home to Wolves. The woodwork has been struck at the Amex Stadium. By whom? Jonathan Overend can answer that question.
By Brighton, who are really pressing hard here to save themselves and to save Huddersfield, it has to be said. Southampton still leading 1-0, but there is real tension around the Amex now in this second half, Ali, as Brighton know their rivals around them are winning and they are struggling. Montoya was the man who hit the bar. I think the crossbar's still rattling. Brighton 0, Southampton 1.
West Ham Everton 5:30 kick-off in the Premier League this evening. Simon Mann has the team news.
Yeah, 3 changes for West Ham. Obiang, Lucas Perez and Snodgrass in. Noble's on the bench, Antonio's on the bench and Anderson is out. And for Everton, that one change with Mina injured on international duty and Kurt Zouma comes in. One change for them.
Thank you, Simon. Updates of that one throughout Sports Report. Full hour of Sports Report from 5 till 6. And then Jason and Robbie taking the calls on 6:06 tonight. Cheltenham 2-1 up at Crewe. Mansfield have a 4th. Tyler Walker from the penalty spot. Exeter 1, Mansfield 4. And Swansea have just scored. Their top scorer, Ollie McBurney, has given them the lead at Nottingham Forest. Anthony Martial has just gone off. Marcus Rojo is on. Rashford's down injured. Ball across the face of the Manchester United penalty area. And Ashley Young is able to clear with his right foot. Messina forward to win a header. And it goes out for a throw. And by the way, it just gives me time, Michael Brown, to get back to my stat from the first half. Martial's now scored, so he's made double figures in the Premier League. So for the first time since 95-96, Manchester United have 4 players who've managed 10 goals or more in the Premier League.
Magnificent. Your stats come true again, hasn't it? You've lined it up and it's come. Fantastic work.
As Hannibal once said, I love it when a plan comes together. Bramall Lane, Steve Crossman.
It's all coming together for Bristol City. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 2. Substitute Casey Palmer, who came on the second that the Blades had taken the lead with a brilliant ball to the back post and an acrobatic volley for his second of the day for Andreas Weimann. What a day. Feels like the first week in May, not the last week in March. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 2.
Port Vale 2-1 up at Northampton. Hearts 2, Aberdeen 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Oldham have a second against Grimsby. That's 2-0. And Motherwell 2, St Johnstone 0. Applause for Luke Shaw. He's got Manchester United steaming down the left-hand side. Gives it to Lingard and back to Shaw. Shaw took a little touch to try and get past Cabaselli. Then he slipped, which stopped his momentum. Still on the ball here. Cabaselli's with him and it's eventually out for a United throw on the left-hand side. So Leeds and Millwall's 2-2. Sheffield United and Bristol City is 2-2. Middlesbrough Norwich kicks off at half-5. Another goal at Turf Moor. Juliet.
And what a week for Dwight McNeil. He has just increased Burnley's scoreline here against Wolves to make it Burnley 2, Wolves 0. It was a superb individual effort from distance. We are just looking at him. He is hugging every single player. He is high-fiving. He is smiling. What a week for this player. Chasing and latching onto the ball. Unleashed from the edge of the area, just inside, to beat Patricio into the far corner and make it Burnley 2, Wolves 0.
And another goal at Leicester, Pat Murphy.
So Jamie Vardy and Leicester. He out-jumped the keeper. Tielemans put it out to Pereira. A good cross from Pereira. Timed his leap beautifully. And there he was, Vardy making it 2-0 Leicester against Bournemouth.
Things going very nicely under Brendan Rodgers at the moment. Another try in the game between Saracens and Glasgow in the Champions Cup. Here's Chris Jones.
All over now. Surely David Stretter with an interception to score his second and Saracens' fifth. Lasowski couldn't miss with the conversion. Saracens storming to the last 4 and a meeting with Munster at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. Saracens 42, Glasgow 13 on the hour mark.
Good run here from Andre Grays away from Phil Jones into the Manchester United box, crossing towards Deeney. It's missed, but now controlled by Pereira. Onto his right foot, wants to hit the shot. Ashley Young was able to get there and close him down. Pereira gets the ball again down by the byline into the shins of Young, and it's behind for a corner for Watford. Rashford having gone down, Michael, 5 minutes or so ago, actually he seems all right, didn't he?
Yeah, he does seem all right. That's one of those, sometimes you get that knock, you realise a couple of seconds later you can get on with it, get running, get moving again. But bright play again from Watford. They're trying to force it, they just can't get that opener.
Martial seemed to be hobbling slightly when he came off. Wimbledon are now 2-1 up at Scunthorpe. QPR have got a goal back at home against Bolton. QPR 1, Bolton 2. And Nottingham Forest have quickly equalised against Swansea. Daryl Murphy has scored. Forest 1, Swansea 1. 10 minutes to play at Old Trafford. Will Hughes is coming off. Isaac Success is coming on, the Nigerian striker. So Manchester United have another physical presence to deal with. That's Gray, Deeney and Success. Up front for Watford now. Corner comes into the penalty area. De Gea comes and makes a bit of a meal of that. Dropped it at his own feet. And then Rashford's onto it. Getting tugged back by Messina. Rashford was still going at full tilt. Messina had a hold of his shirt. He wasn't stopping him and eventually had to bring him to the floor. Messina gets yellow carded. There's a much more sort of comfortable feeling now around the stadium. I think United fans feel that the job is done.
Well, it looks that way. It's just about being professional. Sometimes, you know, when you've been through, as you've mentioned, conceding goals at Old Trafford, people are confident to come now. Some afternoons you've got to grind out results. They were under pressure. They managed to get the second goal. Then they can relax again, get control and possession, and playing, nice and comfortable.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just having a word with Luke Shaw. He was signed by the club by Sir Alex Ferguson back in 1996 as a 23-year-old. And then 23 years later, you double it, and there he is as the permanent manager, as Sir Alex Ferguson once was. And first game as permanent manager looks like it is going to end with a win. Manchester United lead 2-0. I'm going to fire one last little stat at you just to get it out before we get busy towards the end of the game. In terms of these games, so Big Six clubs at home against the other teams in the Premier League, there have been 65 of them before today, and only 3 times has the team outside the Big Six managed to win away from home against one of them. Crystal Palace won at Manchester City, Wolves won at Tottenham at Wembley, and Leicester managed it at Chelsea. It doesn't happen very often. It just shows you that gap really developing more and more between the big boys and the rest in the Premier League. Tranmere 3, Carlisle 0, Kilmarnock 4, Hamilton 0. Success fouled by Pogba. Pogba's furious at the decision. Free kick, Watford. There's been a chance at Selhurst Park. Who's that gone to, John Southall?
Well, they've missed another sitter, Crystal Palace. They lead Huddersfield by 1-0. Wilfried Zaha threw on goal, somehow put it wide of the left-hand post. Palace 1, Huddersfield 0.
Free kick for Watford. They trail Manchester United 2-0. Manchester United's next game is away to Wolves on Tuesday night. Tottenham, who are just above United on goal difference now, both on 61 points. If United go on to win this game, are away to Liverpool tomorrow. Full commentary of that at 4:30 on 5 Live Sport tomorrow. Feminia's cross is high and deep towards the far post. A goal at Selhurst Park. John Southall.
Well, it was coming. Crystal Palace 2, Huddersfield 0. Patrick Van Aanholt on the left of the penalty area, and he guided it into the bottom right-hand corner. This will be a key result for Crystal Palace. They'll move on to 36 points, but Huddersfield are hanging by a thread now. Palace 2, Huddersfield 0.
Michael Brown's just heard in the headphones there's been another goal at Bramall Lane. Is he going to be a happy man, Steve Crossman?
It's gone to Bristol City. They have trailed twice in the game, and now with 7 minutes to go they lead, and it's a brilliant hat-trick for Andreas Weimann. His first a superb curling header, then an acrobatic volley, and this time he was so cool, clipping the ball beyond the defender, side-footing it past Dean Henderson, and a club who hadn't conceded a goal at home in 10 hours have shipped 3. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 3.
Which means you might not be hearing too much from Michael Brown for the rest of this game. The Championship, Michael, honestly, week after week after week. Oh, hang on, there's a goal at Ellen Road, Sohail Sahi.
And it's Leeds United, Alistair, who've taken the lead. They lead Millwall by 3-2, sweeping forward down the left-hand side. It was Roberts who played the ball to the far side, and it was whacked in. I think it was by Pablo Hernandez. Not quite sure, but it doesn't really matter, as Leeds are leading Millwall by 3-2.
So that would put them on 76 points. Sheffield United losing would then be behind them on 74. Norwich on 78 at the top of the table. Crewe 1, Cheltenham 3 in League 2. Morecambe have scored late at home against Crawley. Morecambe 1, Crawley Town 0. Manchester United lead Watford 2-0, and Huddersfield only a few minutes away as things stand from being relegated from the Premier League before we've even reached April. They are losing 2-0 at Selhurst Park. Burnley lead Wolves 2-0, and Southampton are 1 up at Brighton. Blackpool 1, Plymouth 2, the latest. Sad day for Huddersfield fans. Michael Brown, it was a bit of a miracle. They managed to stay up last season. It's just been way beyond them this season, hasn't it?
It was way beyond them, as you mentioned, to stay up last season, even to get promoted, to actually what they've done, what they've got on experience. I think as a supporter for Huddersfield, you've got to appreciate that. Yes, it's disappointing to go down, but yes, they've got to look at the positives and build again. And as I know, they've got a good chairman there who'll certainly be looking to get them back into the Premier League.
If Brighton got an equaliser late on, that could save them this afternoon. Jonathan Overend watching that game against Southampton.
Brighton 0, Southampton 1. It remains 3.5 minutes to play plus stoppage time, but it's all Brighton in this second half. The chances are flying in. Montoya against the bar, Bernardo side netting, Duffy so close on the stretch, Locadia saved by Gunn. Southampton hanging on. Brighton 0, Southampton 1.
They're into 4 minutes of added time at Selhurst Park. As it stands, Huddersfield getting relegated. Manchester United leading Watford 2-0 here. 3 minutes of the 90 left. Luke Shaw's gone down injured, and Manchester United have already made all 3 changes because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shook things up early in the second half, made a double change. Martial has gone off, and Shaw's actually down with a bit of cramp, it looks like, because Pogba stepped in and he's just trying to get the toes moving and he's straightened the leg out. Saracens Glasgow, Chris Jones.
Well, no chance of Glasgow repeating Scotland's comeback of a couple of weeks ago at Twickenham. All Saracens, they've got another. Jamie George at the bottom of a rolling ball for a well-deserved try for the hooker. Ales Osovsky's not been missing from the tee, he converted, and Sarries are in the semi-finals now. Saracens 49, Glasgow 13. We've still got 15 minutes left.
Thank you, Chris. It's all on 5 Live Sports Extra. Leinster Ulster kicking off at 5:15 in full. On 5 Live Sports Extra. Will be to Selhurst Park shortly. They're into added time there. It could be the end for Huddersfield today. Michael Brown, I'm going to ask you the very unfair question. Do you think Manchester United will finish in the top 4 come the end of the season, or is that just too difficult to call?
It's too difficult to call, yeah. They've got a certain matter of Manchester City coming to Old Trafford, which should be a mega occasion. We'll be riding on the will it be the title and the Champions League. So yeah, great games to come, but they've done very, very well to even get into this position. Full credit to Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Vidi Printer's lost the plot. It just popped up with Derby 4, Rotherham 0. That happened about half an hour ago. 6-1 last I heard. Swansea were 1 up at Nottingham Forest. They've conceded 2 goals very quickly. Nottingham Forest now lead Swansea 2-1. Watford win a free kick, edge of the Manchester United penalty area. But let's get to Selhurst Park. John Southall.
Well, Palace lead Huddersfield by 2-0. Just over a minute to play, and the lights look like they're going out on Huddersfield's Premier League journey. They've got a corner over on the right hand side. I have to say they've been spirited today. At times they've played the better football, but they can't score the goals, and that is one of the reasons, if not the reason, why they're going down. 18 goals so far this season. They're just making a substitution here. The corner's going to be over on the right hand side. Crystal Palace lead by those 2-0. Luka Milivojevic, not for the first time this season, scored from the penalty spot in the second half. His 10th of the season, 9th from the penalty spot, and Patrick Van Arnholt rounded it off, scoring into the bottom right hand corner. And we wait for news from Brighton against Southampton, but as it stands at the moment, they are going down. Huddersfield, corner over on the right hand side. They trail by 2-0. It will round off the circle if they are to go down here at Crystal Palace this afternoon, because back in 2017 they played their first Premier League game here, if you remember, beating Palace on that occasion by 3-0. And it looks like now they'll be going down at the very same venue. We still wait for this corner kick to be taken by Huddersfield. Over on the right hand side, everybody, pretty much everybody in the fluorescent yellow jerseys of Huddersfield is inside that penalty box, but it's a poor corner, and it's cleared away, and Palace on the break could break and make it 3-0, but still they go, Huddersfield. Still they look for that consolation goal, and they will hope above hope that Brighton can still squeeze something from that game against Southampton. They trail by 1-0, and because they are winning, and also because in the other game Burnley are winning, that's what means that Huddersfield will be relegated this afternoon. Benteke over on the left hand side. Benteke on as a substitute, and he hasn't scored a goal this season. Benteke. Watford have got a goal back. 2-1 the scoreline there at Old Trafford against Manchester United, and there goes the full-time whistle. So Huddersfield, their players drop to their haunches. Palace have won by 2-0. Big win for them. But is this the end for Huddersfield Town in the Premier League? It was a miraculous season last season, but this season the stats do not make happy reading. 14 points, 6 away from home, 18 goals, 3 wins, and it looks like they could be relegated by the end of March. Let's go to Brighton then, and Jonathan Overend.
Well, Brighton are doing their best to save Huddersfield and also scramble something for themselves here, but it looks like they're going to come up short. It's Brighton 0, Southampton 1. We are in stoppage time. We're playing 4 minutes of stoppage time here at the Amex, and Southampton leading through that second half goal from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. But since then, it's been all Brighton. They just haven't been able to provide the finishing touch to their good build-up work. Still playing. Brighton 0, Southampton 1. Back to Alistair Bruce Ball at Old Trafford.
Thank you, Jonathan. Into 3 minutes of added time, Abdoulaye Doucouré has scored a really good and a well-deserved goal for Watford late in the game. So Manchester United still have to see this out and make sure they get the win. They are back into the top four as things stand, with all their other rivals for those spots playing later in the weekend. They lead 2-1. Other goals that have gone in elsewhere around the country: Motherwell 3, St Johnstone 0 latest. MK Dons now 2-1 up at Forest Green Rovers. And I think that's it. Kilmarnock 5, Hamilton 0. Big win for Kilmarnock at home. Bury 1, Swindon 3. Great win for Swindon that at second place. Bury in League 2, and Newport County have a third at Hewish Park. Yeovil 1, Newport 3. Up to date with everything that's going on. We'll have all the reaction for you in Sports Report as well, including talking to, I'm sure, Jan Sievert, the Huddersfield manager. Looks like they are going to be relegated from the Premier League this afternoon. Burnley are leading Wolves 2-0. Southampton 1 up at Brighton. Can Watford, though, find a late equaliser here with just a minute of the game to play at Old Trafford? It's not been utterly convincing from Manchester United this afternoon, but a win is a win if they can get it. Watford are pressing on the edge of the area. Pereira's been forced backwards towards the halfway line. 30 seconds to play. Messina's cross into the box, headed away by Rojo. Rojo up to Lingard. Capoue was too quick for him, took it off him. Oh, and Lingard's fouled him. 25 yards, maybe just a little more from goal. It's an opportunity for a strike on goal, and that could be a very costly free kick to concede if it costs Manchester United a couple of points. And at times this afternoon, for a lot of this afternoon, Michael Brown, United have been a bit sloppy.
They haven't performed well. Watford have certainly deserved something from this game. They've done ever so well with the ball, moved Manchester United around. Other than that bit of quality from Rashford in the first half, I think Watford have certainly deserved something. They've pushed, they've just scored an outstanding goal with probably the man of the match for Doucouré for me.
Yeah, Doucouré. Watch that goal, by the way, on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Lovely little 1-2 in the penalty area, got through one-on-one. Now, David De Gea could be busy in a second. The 3 minutes of added time are up. Manchester United lead 2-1. Roberto Pereira is the man who is going to take the free kick. David De Gea's got the sun in his eyes to deal with as well. The man all in orange waits for the whistle to blow. Here's Pereira. No, he's not going to shoot. He's going to float it into the box, headed down towards the goal. Whistle blows. There was a foul in the penalty area. Manchester United will get a free kick. Who is that? That is down. It's Phil Jones who is down and hurt, but I think Manchester United have just about seen this through. Waiting for the full-time whistle. Can Brighton find an equaliser that could save Huddersfield at the Amex? Jonathan Oberon.
Full-time here, and Huddersfield are relegated. Southampton get the points. They beat Brighton 1-0. But there is huge disappointment in the Brighton ranks as well. It's the teams in blue and white stripes who are struggling today in the Premier League. Huddersfield are out of the division, we know that for a fact before the end of March. But what of Brighton, you wonder? With Palace, with Burnley and Southampton winning today, Brighton are the big losers. They might still have a game in hand, but they remain on 33 points. They gave everything in the second half, but they couldn't get the equaliser. Full time at the Amex. Brighton 0, Southampton 1.
Late equaliser for Blackpool. Blackpool 2, Plymouth 2. Full-time whistles blowing up and down the country as it has here at Old Trafford. And Manchester United get the win. They've beaten Watford 2-1. They weren't entirely convincing, Michael Brown, but they're into the top four, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be happy with the result, I think, not the performance.
He'll be happy with the result. We just watched him shake his staff sort of hands on the bench with a big sigh to say, we were fortunate today. That told it all for me. They got the points. He'll be happy really on his full-time appointment, but they could do better.
Rashford and Martial with the goals. Full-time at Old Trafford. Manchester United 2, Watford 1.
And we can confirm Huddersfield are relegated from the Premier League. The final whistle has gone at Turf Moor. Juliet Ferrington.
Yeah, where Burnley have certainly boosted their survival hope for Premier League football for another season. It was hard fought in the end after taking the lead through a Conor Cody own goal 2 minutes into this game. Dwight McNeil, though, wrapping it up late in the second half. They had been under the cosh for most of it before the teenager struck from just inside the area. He let rip, buried his strike into the bottom corner. Wolves were forced to make all three substitutions as they controlled the second half. They were chasing the equaliser, but they were undone by 19-year-old Dwight McNeil. Sean Dyche won't care. He was looking for this win. It takes him another step further to hoping to be playing Premier League football next season. They have beaten Wolves here at Turf Moor, Burnley, by 2-0.
So three things needed to happen for Huddersfield to go today. Burnley needed to win. They did. Southampton needed to win. They did. And Huddersfield had to lose. John Southall saw their defeat at Crystal Palace.
Yes, and they did. Palace 2, Huddersfield 0. 2 second half goals by Crystal Palace sent Huddersfield down. Luka Milivojevic from the penalty spot and Patrick Van Arnholt with the second. On the full-time whistle, the Huddersfield players trooped over to their fans in the far left-hand corner, applauded them. They applauded back. They've gone down with dignity, but they are down. They need to regroup. The first side to go down this season are Huddersfield before the end of March. Palace 2, Huddersfield 0.
Oxford have got what looks like a late winner at home to Wickham in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Oxford United 2, Wickham Wanderers 1. And forget the burgers that Colchester have had to deal with this week. They've scored in the 6th minute of stoppage time at Cambridge. Cambridge 0, Colchester 1. Back to the Premier League. 3 points for Leicester this afternoon. Pat Murphy.
Comfortably in the end. An early goal from Morgan, deflecting Chilwell's shot. And then a splendid header by Vardy, timing his leap beautifully from a subtle cross by the outstanding Tielemans. Bournemouth were good in patches. Schmeichel made a crucial save in the first half to deny Wilson. But in the end, Leicester were comfortable winners, 2-0.
And let's go into the Championship. Full time at Bramall Lane. What a game. Steve Crossman.
Incredible afternoon. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 3. After 76 minutes, the Blades were winning. They were going 3 points clear of Leeds in second. After 90, they're somehow out of the top two. They led twice. Billy Sharp's header, his 23rd of the season, and Scott Hogan's first for Sheffield United. But it is all about Andreas Weimann this afternoon. A truly magnificent hat-trick from the Bristol City winger. His first a header which just totally outfoxed Dean Henderson in the Blades goal. His second an acrobatic volley, and the winner, the deftest touch past the defender. A calm side foot finish. Bristol City suddenly just a point outside the playoff. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 3.
What does that mean for Leeds United? Suhail Sahi.
That means they're back in the automatic promotion spots, Mark. It finished 3-2. They beat Millwall. They fought back twice to equalise and scored the winning goal in the 83rd minute. Trailing 1-0 and then 2-1 at a missed penalty. Leeds refused to give up, and Pablo Hernandez, with his second of the day, sent Leeds into second. Full time at Ellen Road. Leeds United 3, Millwall 2.
Villa have won this afternoon. They've beaten Blackburn 2-1. Derby have thrashed Rotherham 6-1. Bottom of the table, Ipswich have lost again, beaten 2-0 at home by Hull. Forest have come from a goal down to beat Swansea 2-1. Bolton have held on at QPR to win by 2-1. Reading have beaten Preston 2-1. Goalless between Stoke and Sheffield Wednesday. They're still playing at the DW Stadium, where it's goalless between Wigan and Brentford. In the Scottish Premiership, wins for Hearts and Kilmarnock. Motherwell and St Mirren have won the battle between the bottom two. They've beaten Dundee by 2-1. It's all over at Oakwell. Tom Gale.
Barnsley 2, Coventry 2, Mark, and just a really, really good game of football. Both sets of players going around the stadium, everyone staying behind to applaud them. Really, really good game. The pick of the goals came in the second half. Coventry it was who got themselves back in it twice, but it was Barnsley who took a 2-1 advantage just 2 minutes after the restart. Corley Woodrow with a lovely finish into the bottom right-hand corner, but the goal of the day came in the 79th minute. Luke Thomas on loan from Derby, step over, curled it into the top right-hand corner. A deserved point for Coventry. Barnsley extend their unbeaten run to 20. They lose sight on the leaders, but they remain in second.
Details of that St Mirren win over Dundee from Roddy Forsyth.
St Mirren 2, Dundee 1. St Mirren replogged Dundee at the bottom of the SPFL Premiership table, yet they were behind after 35 seconds. Ethan Robson striking home from Sullivan's cutback. But Danny Mullen, who had last played in December and last scored in August against Dundee. 2 goals then. Got a crucial equaliser to make it 1 each at half-time. Brad Lyons took advantage of a mistake by Dundee keeper Deng to get the goal that had the home crowd alight. St Mirren 2, Dundee 1.
Let's switch to Rugby Union's Champions Cup. Munster through by beating Edinburgh in a close one earlier. It's not a close one at Sarries. Chris Jones.
50 up for Saracens. Nick Tompkins under the post for Saracens. 7th try. George Horn had grabbed a consolation back for Glasgow. But this is a rout. Another resounding Sarries display here at Allianz Park. And they will play Munster at Coventry's Ricoh Arena in the Champions Cup last 4. 56-20. Saracens lead Glasgow. Just a few minutes left.
3 commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow, including the Old Firm at midday and Liverpool against Tottenham at 4:30. If you want to talk to Jason and Robbie, you can. 08085 909 693. The lines are open for 606, and that follows Sports Report, which is next.